About 2 weeks ago, a group of thieves made off with over $100 million worth of jewels that they stole from the Louvre. You might have heard of that place before. It's pretty well known, nearly as famous as the Florida Citrus Center. The Louvre houses innumerable, priceless art and jewels. Now, I don't know about all of you, but for me, whenever I hear the Louvre, the first thing that pops into my head is that episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where all the art starts coming to life. And kind of similar to Courage the Cowardly Dog, the way that they stole these items is actually cartoonish. It's like actual Neanderthal mode thinking here. So what they did is they got this big ladder, this lift, they drove it up, and then extended it to the second floor, broken through the second floor window, equipped with angle grinders, and then just went to town on the displays. But the displays were pretty resilient, so it wasn't enough. Like, the gadgets they brought weren't enough, so they just threw away the doodads, they disarmed themselves, and apparently started like shoulder bashing it and elbowing it until it finally gave way and they were able to lift the jewels out of there. And security guards did actually arrive, which is why we have this footage here, but they were worried that the thieves could have been armed. So they did arrive at the scene, but it didn't turn into like an action movie moment or anything where they started doing like fucking martial arts on each other trying to stop the thieves. They reported to the scene, called the authorities, but the thieves were in and out in about 7 minutes. So they were able to steal over $100 million worth of jewels through this method. They then took the tools with them, as I understand it, and then they left on this lift, and we have footage of them leaving.
This video filmed by security guards in the Louvre shows two robbers leaving the crime scene. They make their way down with a boom lift stationed outside and escape on two scooters just seconds before the police arrive.
Plans don't get more simple than that, and most people, myself included, are very surprised at how easy that appeared to be. And according to some of the French officials, they're also pretty shocked that security was so lax and pretty outdated. So, a very simple plan, sometimes caveman brain is best brain, where you just go and you hit it with an angle grinder and a little elbow grease, and then they make their way out there with $100 million worth of jewels. Now, there have been 5 arrests, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, but they have not recovered any of the stolen jewels here. And the fear is that they are in the process or already have dismantled them so they can sell them, because you can't really sell them as is. These are extremely recognizable, easily identifiable, famous pieces. Who's going to be buying that for $100 million? Fucking Dr. Evil? Like, you're not going to find someone that's going to buy them as is, because then it would easily lead to their arrest. There's no wiggle room to weasel your way out saying, oh, I didn't know that this treasured French jewel was, stolen. Like, it's clearly never going to be sold like that. You know, it's not like a movie where you could sell the fucking Statue of Liberty and some dude will put it in his backyard, some, like, obscenely rich guy. Like, that's just not how it works. So, what they believe is currently going on is that they are dismantling the jewels carefully to keep everything intact so they can sell the jewels individually as opposed to just like an altogether piece, meaning all of these could be lost, destroyed, and that's maybe why they haven't been able to recover it right now. But they're holding on to hope that they're still all together, but I guess we'll see. They have made 5 arrests, so let's go ahead and quickly go over that.
Turning our attention now to Paris, where 5 additional suspects are now in custody, arrested in connection with that daring heist at the Louvre that stunned the world earlier this month, into custody over the weekend. Despite the arrest, the stolen jewels, worth over $100 million, have yet to be recovered.
So here's where things got a little messy and hard to understand for me. So CNN mentions that there have been 5 people that have been taken into custody, arrested in connection to this. I read something from the BBC that 3 of them have been released without charge. And some sources are saying that, not everyone that's been arrested was, present at the scene. They believe that they could be instrumental in getting more clues about the people that were there. What is confirmed is it was a 4-man team. There were 4 men present. There were the guy who drove the truck, another guy that stood behind, at the truck where they pretended like it was renovations, and then the 2 people that actually went in and got the jewels. So it was a 4-man team. They made 5 arrests. Of those arrests, one of them is a woman who is connected to one of the people that they arrested. They believe she is an accomplice that can be helpful in getting more breadcrumbs for them to follow. And then DNA evidence. This is where it got really, fucking muddy for me, because It seems like at least one of the people that was directly involved in stealing the jewels has been linked to this via DNA evidence. But then I also saw that they used DNA evidence to link other people to it as well, but then that got contradicted by other sources. And I saw the word DNA used so many times here, it made me think that they must have just went here fucking full of cum or something, spreading it all over the Louvre, because it sounds like they had so much DNA out the wazoo, shit must have looked like a porn shoot.
Well, as you say, we do understand that one of these latest 5 arrested is one of those who was here on that day. Of course, those 2 that had been arrested over the weekend, also part of that 4-man team. These 2 had been known to police. It was DNA samples that had matched them to the scene of the crime. This latest arrest of one of those 4 also tied to the scene of the crime, we understand, by DNA. As to the other 4...
Now, I think there might be some kind of like translation error sometimes, which would explain the discrepancy and why not all sources are agreeing on the amount of DNA evidence used here. But I'm still going to give you like a montage of all of the ones that have DNA evidence cited as how they were linked. The one that seems to be agreed upon across most sources here is that this 37-year-old man had his DNA found inside the basket lift that was used to get to the second floor and also escape after they stole the jewels. He is claiming that he hasn't done it. The Paris prosecutor said he's denying involvement, so he's hitting him with that classic Patrick Star, is this your wallet? No, but it has your name on it? No. But across most sources I can find, they all agree that his DNA was found inside that basket lift. Another person arrested in connection to this heist was a 34-year-old Algerian national who was arrested while trying to fly to Algeria. Apparently they had found his DNA matched on a scooter that was used in the getaway. And then finally, the 38-year-old woman who's actually the partner of the 37-year-old man. They have children together, and a small amount of her DNA was found in that basket lift, which could have been possible because, maybe she had, left something or whatever on him, which is then transferred to the lift when he got in it. Now again, like I said, across a bunch of sources that I was reading, some of which were translated, some of them didn't mention the DNA evidence used in the 38-year-old woman or the 34-year-old man. The main one that I saw that everyone seems to agree that DNA that has hard linked them is that 37-year-old in the basket lift. But anyway, it sounds like they had arrested 5 suspects here. Some may have been released, but it looks like they're hot on their tail, but have yet to recover the jewelry. They continue to search for it and try to get all of the items back. I guess we'll see how it goes, but what a crazy fucking heist. Over $100 million worth of this jewelry. I have to imagine that they haven't sold any of it yet, would be my guess. Pretty much every official is saying that this is not a professional ordeal. This was not carried out by, Ocean's 11 style geniuses, galaxy brain scheme or anything. These are petty criminals that just did a very simple idea that worked. And I think they're right. This does not seem like the work of some highly organized professional crime unit or anything here. This really does seem like a group of goobers got together and said, what if we took a lift to the Louvre to get to the second floor real quick and then take some angle grinders to the displays? Anyone could hatch that idea. That's pretty low neuron activation scheming. So I think they're right. These probably are petty criminals, which leads me to believe they probably haven't started dismantling any of the jewelry yet, because they're probably still trying to figure out how the fuck to do that. Or maybe they're so brazen that they're trying to find buyers for it as is, which is not going to be super quick. So I think there is a good chance that they do recover the jewelry. It's just a matter of when. It seems like they have narrowed in, at least on some very, likely suspects here that are in connection to this possibly. So I guess we'll see how it all shakes down. But anyway, I wanted to yap about this a bit because it really is one of the craziest jewelry heists in modern day. That is an unbelievable haul to make off with from one of the most famous locations on the planet, full stop, the Louvre. That's crazy. So anyway, just wanted to talk about it a bit. That's it. See ya. I like shiny cardboard. I do not like grating the shiny cardboard. I do not like green eggs and ham. I have said it for many moons now. I think grading cards is hooey. I know I've spit shit about this topic for a while, but it's true. I just think it's a bunch of horseradish. You pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars to grade your cards, and Sometimes they get damaged, other times it just feels like it's truly just RNG, the roll of the dice, and it's entirely dependent on whoever's manhandling your card's mood on that given day with whatever grade they decide to dole out. To me, it just always feels inconsistent, so I just really never think that it's worth the money to get cards graded. And I know people make entire careers out of buying and selling graded cards and all of that. All power to you. I'm not your fucking dad. I'm not coming in there with a belt making you stop just because I don't like it. You do what you want to do. But there is just very real problems with the whole practice of grading cards, especially when it comes to things like PSA. And that's what we're about to talk about today. PSA is probably one of the biggest when it comes to card grading. I'm sure all of you have heard their brand name tossed around quite a bit. When it comes to card grading, they're like fucking Kleenex, where when people talk about a graded card, they usually say like PSA plus the number as opposed to like just general card grading. The same way when people talk about tissue, sometimes they say, can you get me a fucking Kleenex? Like it's gotten to that level where they are just that big. They're kind of the top dog. But I also just really don't like them in particular. I think they're one of the worst in the card grading industry, and it's an industry I already think is full of corruption in general. And today I saw a video breaking down a wild situation where someone had an extraordinarily rare card. I'm talking less than 50 of these cards in the world, at least that are known about. It's a PSA, or was, RIP, God rest its soul, a PSA 10 Deoxys lenticular card. So basically it's 3 art in 1, and it's from over 22 years ago. There are only a handful of these out there, and the estimated price based on like recent data is around $45,000 for this card. And this individual had this card, and they wanted it to get reholdered. And when they sent it to PSA, they fucking blasted it. They annihilated that card, and what he received back was a PSA 6. What they're citing is a PSA 6, noting that it was damaged, unfortunately. And instead of like paying him what the card's actual value would be worth, they aren't willing to do that. They're instead hiding behind this fair market value number they're pulling out of their dirty rectum and offering significantly less. So I want to show you some of this video and go over this because it is very scummy from everything I can see.
This is a holy grail for some Deoxys collectors. And I'll tell you, it's a grail for a reason. It's got it all. It's old and it's very exclusive. It was only given out for the release of Pokemon's 7th movie, Destined Deoxys, and only in Japan was this card given out. And it's super cool because it's the only small lenticulated card to exist. Yeah, here's an example of a lenticulated Charizard card, or what lenticulated means. The card changes depending on the angle you look at it. Here's a little video that shows you how cool this card is.
This Pokemon card is actually 3 cards in 1. When you move this card up and down, Deoxys will change into a different form.
This is just showing you the card itself and what makes it so rare and valuable to collectors. Lenticular shit from back in the day is actually really hype. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but right here, I actually have my original copy of Majora's Mask with the lenticular label on it. It's so fucking cool. And this is a really rare card, especially to find in a pristine condition. It's been over 2 decades. So having a PSA 10 is very, very rare.
This is a sick card. And this particular card was originally graded as a 10. Originally. Now, how did that change? Well, it happened through a process called reholdering. Older PSA as a company, a grading company, was a little more lenient on Pokemon cards, or just cards in general, at the time. So, when you get an older slab, you expect a lesser quality condition of a card, even if it is in a 10. Logan Pulse Pikachu. And you'll see this happen at Pokemon card shows. People will ask if my card has a older certification number, meaning it was graded at a older point in time, and if they are graded at an older point in time, they're actually worth a little less. So what some people do is they get their cards reholdered.
Which is exactly what this individual is doing. They wanted it reholdered so they could have an updated slab showing that it is a pristine 10, even by modern, more strict grading standards, because that would then fetch a higher price to collectors that want to purchase the item. And according to the original Reddit post, they actually did have someone offer in excess of $45K. I'm assuming that may have been dependent on like the reholdering maintaining a 10, which is probably why they were like really gung-ho about doing it. And then disaster struck, and then the Fire Nation attacked.
Now imagine the shock that Brian felt when he submitted his super old, super rare, already in a PSA 10, Deoxys for reholdering, and it came back to him as a PSA 6, losing about 90% of its value. And it wasn't because he did anything wrong, but PSA actually damaged his card. 268-279-56, I actually looked it up, and as you can see, it actually has been deemed back down to an EX Mint 6. They kept the same certification number, and they turned it down from a PSA 10 all the way down to a PSA 6.
Again, just to make sure it's very clear, the reason he was doing this is because with an older slab, it was more lenient, which means buyers wouldn't pay as much because there's a chance it's not actually a 10. Maybe there's like some scuffs here, a little poop over there, like who really knows? So he was getting it reholdered to update that to fetch a higher price. And what happened is, and you can see it through searching the serial number, it got regraded all the way down to a 6. And then after corresponding with PSA via email, which we're about to look at, it's because they fucked it up. They ruined it. They took away the vast majority of the value of this card, which is life-changing money, mind you, all because they made a whoopsie-daisy. Oh, clumsy us, real butterfingers. We seem to have crumpled it up and used it as toilet paper. But don't worry, we slabbed it, and we've updated the serial number in our system, so now everyone will know that this is now a 6. Why aren't you happy? This is what you paid for. So here's the email. My name is Dorothy, and I'm a supervisor for the Customer Relations Department team here at PSA. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me this morning as discussed over the phone. CERT, and that's the Deoxys, was unfortunately impacted during our encapsulation process. This did lead the card to no longer merit the grade of a PSA 10. Instead, our head of grading has provided that the new grade is a PSA 6. I am provided the details below. Dorothy, come on! You're going to make a grammar mistake like that? This is less than professional. I am provided. It should be I have provided the details below. Get with the program, Dorothy. Take this seriously. Along with our offer based on our findings of the fair market value. That's a boogeyman term with PSA, by the way.
They say the description, the card, and the original 10. They confirm that it's originally a 10, and they say that the fair market value is $20,000. And here's where we're going to get some issues. They said the grade of the value of the 6 is $750, and with the ordering fees, I can't believe they included the order fee here, that it costed $190 just to destroy their card. And so they go on to say that they would like to offer the market value difference in the form of credit on an account or a check and remove their insane respective grading fee, which, oh my gosh, I can't believe you'd spend $200 just for them to rewrite a number on a card.
Quick pause here, a little halftime show, because I have been screeching about that to the high heavens for so long. PSA overcharges the fuck out of everyone who makes the mistake of using their services. You pay an arm and a leg for the most basic of services, and they arbitrarily jack the price up as they're jacking themselves off on top of your cards, giving you whatever grades they decide to pull out of their ass that day, and their numbers make no sense. It's extremely expensive to do, like, basically anything even remotely adjacent to card grading through PSA. So, like, I'm not surprised at all about the reholdering being nearly $200 just to fucking update the slab. It's crazy, man. It is actually crazy. That price didn't shock me in the slightest. I'm actually surprised it wasn't $1,000, knowing PSA.
They would also like to offer to have the item encapsulated as the current PSA grade or as authentic at no additional cost. How kind of them. As discussed on the phone, I understand you have concerns with initial market values. Please note our fair market value pricing is established by calculating the average sold prices for comparable items. And they say if you show any difference, we'll forward them to the pricing evaluation team. Now, the reason why this is such a crazy deal and such an insane, insulting offer is because the last sale on this card was $45,000. Offering $20,000 as an average is a spit in the face, and I'll explain later why.
This is where it gets extremely spicy. That card sold only a couple of weeks ago by PSA. And this is where it gets a little conspiratorial, but I think there's a lot of merit to it. There are people that are speculating that they didn't actually damage his card when reholdering it. The encapsulation process, it's a psyop. It's not real. What they're thinking might have happened is PSA, when reholdering that PSA 10 Deoxys that was submitted, they took it and then sold it themselves, and then instead gave him a 6, saying that it was damaged and now it's down to a 6. That is a theory, just a little game theory that a lot of people have, because you need to stop and consider just how unlikely these circumstances are that PSA had 2 PSA 10 Deoxys lenticular cards from 2004 at the same time, when there is only 38 of these cards in the fucking known universe. And somehow PSA had 2 of them at the same time. When this card was being reholdered, they had already been selling this other 10 that they had for $45K. The timing is just very suspicious. PSA was who sold that $45,000 Deoxys. But even setting aside the conspiracy, even if that's entirely just wrong and a bunch of fiddlesticks, they have their own data to pull from for the fair market value. They, PSA, sold this exact same card, this PSA 10 Deoxys, only a matter of weeks ago for $45,000. So wouldn't basic logic stand to reason that they would view that card as $45,000? So why are they now telling this poor guy here, who just lost this card now because of their incompetence, that actually fair market value is about 20K, so we'll give you 19K because we're splitting the difference here with the 6 and that, when they themselves have already sold it for 45K? They should know that that is the fair market value. That's what you just fucking sold it at. So why are you feeding this guy a bunch of nonsense? Why are you blowing smoke up his butt? That's why it's been like so big. And like, well, I mean, just damaging a card this rare is already going to be a big story, but this blows up even further because of just how fishy and shady this whole thing is from PSA. They sold this exact card for 45K. Why are you now trying to turn around and say that it's only worth 20K to this individual here whom you've just ruined that exact card for? It doesn't make sense. It's weird.
And the thing is, if they gave him a decent offer, I wouldn't need to make this video. They actually threatened the dude if he made it public. This is like the stuff I would expect Kevin O'Leary to write if he was on a PR team. Please let me know once you find those listings or if you choose to accept our offer. Should you choose to accept the offer, due to the offer being over $500, we would need you to sign a standard release agreement. So their excuse is that because the offer is over $500, he needs to sign a hush-hush document. If you approve the resolution as offered, you would receive an email link to the DocuSign to review and sign the agreement. Please be aware that should you accept this settlement offer, our standard settlement agreement includes a confidentiality provision. Sorry, I'm sick. My brain is fried right now. Any public disclosure of the settlement offer may result in our rescinding the offer.
That's pretty stern. That's rather frank, but they do give you a nice little sweet apology at the end saying they sincerely apologize, and I think that's coming from a genuine place. Thank you so much, Dorothy, for that. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes. As he said, if it was like a decent offer, it's like, hey, we blew it here, man. We ruined your card. We'll just give you like the 45K or whatever that the card is worth. We literally just sold one, and we'll move on past this. But they don't do that. Instead, they lowball him an offer based off of just imaginary nothing math because they're trying to screw this guy over. And then they're saying at the end of the email that if he accepts it, they're basically going to lock him into confidentiality where he can't disclose anything about it because it would make PSA look really bad. And I think it's pretty clear he probably hasn't accepted that offer. I imagine, will be rescinding the offer, as Dorothy threatened to do in the end of the email there. And I think it just is a really, really bad look for PSA here across the board. I don't think they could have handled this any worse. But I also think this is a really nice look at how a company like PSA operates. I have said PSA is shady for a while. Dorothy calls it a standard form, which leads me and many others to believe that this is just the norm for them, that if they ruin your shit and it's over $500, they'll lock you down into being like quiet about it, so they'll pay you off like hush money and you can't talk about like, the settlement, which I can almost see the logic behind, because like PSA probably doesn't want people hearing that they're ruining cards over like $500 because then people won't feel comfortable sending them the cards. But on the flip side of that coin, it would probably be good for their image to be like, hey, look, mistakes happen. We handle so many cards, this volume. there are going to occasionally be these hiccups, and when that happens, look at all of these people we've taken care of when we've made an error. Like, I feel like you would want them to, like, say, like, no, I was upset about it initially, but then it got squared away, they gave me exactly what the card was worth. But that's clearly not how they operate. They'd rather just have it be, like, seemingly really lowball fair market value that they just make up poof out of nowhere based on nothing tangible. Like, it looks like what they tried to do is take really old sales of that card and then, like, kind of take into account their most recent sale and then find the average, but that's a stupid way of doing it because of how much the hobby and just the reselling has blown up. Like, it makes no sense why you wouldn't just take the data from the most recent sale your fucking self has just done. It seems like it's just a very underhanded tactic in order to try and justify these lowball amounts that they're offering that appear to be standard based on Dorothy's email. And the confidentiality, I just don't think is a good idea. Even though I can almost see why they're trying to do that, I think it's still just a shitty look. I think it would be far more effective if they just said, like, again, we made a mistake, and this is how we correct it. Look, he's even posting about it. We gave him exactly what the card was worth when we fucked up. I think that's a lot better than, we fucked up your card, now shut up and take this much lesser amount than what the card was worth.
So in the final picture, Brian includes the sales of all the past, cards of the same card, all the past sales is what I'm trying to say. And as you can see here, the last sale in February 2026 was $45,000. Now, just to clarify, because apparently Tony over here says, my only thing is that the card itself is different in that 45K sale, like different artwork. If you compare the exact same card, then they are fair. Oh my God. This card, they're saying the artwork is different because it doesn't look the same as this one over here. It's the same card. It's lenticulated. It has 3 different artworks on it.
I liked that section because I also saw a couple of people on, like, the original post saying, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not even the same card. The art's different. So I guess we've reached a point where people don't remember what lenticular means, like what those items are, like what they look like. The reason it looks different there is because it's just at a different angle, so you're seeing one of the different arts. It's lenticulated. There's 3 arts there. Like, Jesus Christ, it's the same card. And it only takes like 1 second, actually 1 second, to just type it in yourself to double check, like, is this the same card? Like, I don't know, it's different artwork, but maybe I just don't know what lenticular means. Let me look it up. Oh, okay. No, I see. Now I get it. But no one wants to do that anymore. They'd rather just immediately just type that stupid shit.
And I know some of you are wondering, like, look at these other sales. They go from, they're 5,500, they're 10K, 15K. Why is this 45K the one we're looking at? Well, you answered your own question. Because as you can see, cards are fluid. Their prices are going to go up. And it's only getting higher as time goes on. And when a card goes up in value, you can't just value the next card you sell based on the average of the past 3. That's not how it works. If anything, the card should be worth more money because, as you can see, there's a clear demand for this card and it's going up as time goes on.
Not only that, with a card this rare, every one of those sales, the reason it keeps going up is because there's less and less of them that exist, and there's not going to be more. I would be beyond surprised if we saw another PSA 10 of this card within the next, like, 2 or 3 years. It's very, very, very rare. So that's the reason it keeps climbing. So the most recent sale being 45 should be the one that they would look at the fair market value for and extrapolate like it's at least 45K. You wouldn't be taking the averages of the other ones because it's growing in demand and also in scarcity. There's not going to be more. So it's going to go up. And they know that. Again, this is just a very convenient way of trying to save quite a bit of money here for their boo-boo. Anyway, though, this is a good breakdown of the PSA situation here from Snomnom. I'll link the original in the description. And yeah, that's really about it. So, what is he turning off, you ask yourself? Hopefully not his contagious smile. Don't worry, that's going to be sticking around. What won't be sticking around, what I'm turning off, is pretty much every way of donating money to me. I'm disabling YouTube channel memberships and super chats. I tried to find a way to do this for Twitch since I multi-stream. I didn't want Twitch to have a way of doing this either, but Twitch is a little special. Once they get you in those nipple clamps, you are not getting out. Once you opt into like the partner program or whatever, you can't turn off bits or subs. The only way out is in a fucking coffin. But I do think I found a solution for bits where I set the minimum so incredibly high that I imagine nobody's going to spend that kind of money, I would hope. But for subs, I can't get rid of that. If I could, I would say toodaloo, give it a strong slap on the ass, tell it good game and goodbye. But from what I can tell, there's a lot of hoops to jump through in order to accomplish that, so I'm just urging you, don't sub or anything like that on Twitch. And the reason why I'm disabling all of these things and discouraging these things is because I just don't want people to donate money to me anymore. I don't want that. I'm putting the kibosh on it. I felt uneasy about it for a while, but I convinced myself that I could deliver something that made it valuable for people that were donating. So like YouTube channel memberships. I had all these big ideas for content I'd do at the farm for members, but what I didn't account for is just how much we do at the farm and how time consuming that is, so I haven't been able to film any of that. So you are basically paying money for nothing. And it's not just YouTube memberships that were getting a bad deal, Twitch subs too. All you get there is some emotes. Whoopee! Yeah, amazing. Yeah, some emotes that I haven't updated in like 4 years that are probably still locked at like negative 240p on some of the older ones. Like it is literally just money for nothing. And it's just been really bothering me lately. I would much rather you hold on to your money. Now more than ever with how everything's been going. I think it is crucial you get your finances in a fucking full Nelson. And you just don't let those puppies fly willy-nilly donating clams to a goofball like me. If you're someone who just has all this money and it's burning a hole in your pocket, you have to donate it. You know, you have this insatiable appetite to just part ways with this money. Donate it to a charitable cause instead. There are so many good charities doing extremely good work that could be benefited greatly from your contribution. Like maybe you'd want to donate to a charity that's doing extremely important work in Gaza. Like, that would be a significantly better use of that money than donating it to me. Like, I would much rather it go to other organizations or other people in need instead of finding its way to me for literally nothing. Like, there are just so many better options for your money than giving it to me. I really, it's time I pull the plug on the ability to even do that. I have openly discouraged it for a long time, saying that what I do is free. You don't need to donate or anything like that. But people do still engage with it. And I want to just take that off of the table now. I feel like this is long overdue. It's something I should have done a while ago, but I had convinced myself I could deliver something of value to people that were paying, and I don't think there's any value in giving money during a stream to get my attention so that way I talk about it for a second. That's just not a good use of your money. I also don't think I was giving anything of value to like members with, members content or anything. Plus, I never wanted to give the perception that I was paywalling content in the first place. The idea was always like, little bonuses and stuff or unedited videos for a time. But then with the way YouTube works, that was getting recommended as though they were like real videos that were being paywalled from just normal subscribers unless you forked over some doubloons. Actually, Linus Tech Tips just made a video kind of talking about that yesterday. Anyway, I won't yap your ear off too much longer on this, but I want to conclude here with a call to inaction, I suppose. Since I couldn't turn off Twitch subs, I just want to strongly urge you, do not waste your money subbing to me on Twitch. This isn't reverse psychology. I'm not trying to get into your noodle and rearrange neurons in a confusing, complex gambit here. I am just asking you honestly not to. As I've said from the beginning, all of this that I do here is meant to be consumed for free. So please just consume it for free. Please. And again, if you do want to donate money, please do it to a charitable cause instead of me. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah. It's that time again, another excavator police chase. These happen more often than you'd think, where someone is being pursued by authorities while in an excavator. Now, I don't know why it so commonly occurs with an excavator in particular. It doesn't feel like the optimal choice for evading anyone, genuinely anybody. Fucking geriatric grandpa with his walker could catch up to an excavator. Like, the best you could do is start, blasting shit with the big bucket. But outside of that, it's really just not ideal for a chase. Yet somehow, it continues to be the subject of these low-speed pursuits. There's always a lot of heavy equipment police chases now. I feel like this happens pretty often. Real quick to set the record straight, the title of that Midwest safety video is incorrect. It is not a bulldozer, that is 100% an excavator. There it is. The kaiju. You can't stop it. Oh, he's gonna hit him with the bucket.
Put it down. Stop it. Stop it right now.
You see what I mean? These puppies are built for power, not speed. You are watching it at fucking full throttle. That is pedal to the metal excavator action right there, and it's not exactly zooming around, you know? It doesn't have a whole lot of get up and go to it. But what it does have is the ability to 360 degree, like a fucking owl's head there, swinging a big old heavy bucket, which collides with that truck there and manages to shake the officer off of the cabin. It's bulletproof glass, he thought of everything. Activate the turbo boosters! How are they keeping up with his speed? Officers, may I remind you that impeding in a construction site is indeed a crime? Clear the way, he's got a job to do. Oh, the officer's gonna get out there and hold him back with his bare hands. Man, how far away did the officer park? Maybe he doesn't see them. True! Maybe he didn't see them. They didn't have their lights and sirens on. The cherries weren't activated. Now he probably sees them. Oh, he's avoiding the pit maneuver. Nice. Get the spike strips out. We'll try and bust the tracks. Wait, who is that? Those building employees? Are they implicated in this? I feel like they just came out to watch the chase.
Cars try to block them in. Also get canine this way.
Trying to block this in. What a terrible strategy. He's gonna go right through you like a knife through butter. Look at that speed. You can't stop that. This is the one thing the officers could never plan for. They have no countermeasure.
I love everybody in the area.
He's getting away! Oh! He's drifting. Ooh, smooth. Off-roading. Good luck getting him now. He's gone. We lost him.
Oh, they be right here. He's in somebody else's yard now.
Far be it for me to give advice to the guy in the heavy machinery, but maybe turn off the lights.
He's gonna rain you.
Kill the lights. You'll disappear into the night. Go deeper into the wilderness.
Backhoe whenever we try to get near it.
And start spinning it in a circle like Garen's E. Then they can't get close. fuck did it?
Dumbass.
Oh, I thought the... Wait. Wow. I didn't see the other car pull up. I just saw this officer hit this guy.
Dumbass.
Okay.
Watch out, you got really bad drivers coming behind you. They almost hit Hughes.
For what? What's the charge? Enjoying a drive? A succulent big bucket drive?
I don't care. I don't care. I'll get him.
No, don't touch me. Don't touch me. You want me to stay back? You want me to stay? Hey,
Oh boy.
get him out of here.
It's getting crazy now. The crazy family has arrived. As advertised. Someone give this man a cigarette.
We're gonna let you get a cigarette, dude. You step out of the bulldozer. Knock the
quit touching. Y'all need to stay back.
Quit touching me. Let me get him. I'll get him. I'll get him out. I promise you I'll get him out, man.
Man, these two really, like, these were the actual bulldozers. These two just went right through the cops. Stay back! I won't let you through! And then they just walk right by them. Very good.
I'll get him out. Hey, get back.
All right, let's calm it down a bit. Let's take the temperature down here. No need to be yelling.
Jacob, we're not. Come on, step out.
Easy enough. He just didn't know you guys were there.
I'll let you know.
Man, this is just so much commotion. Holy. There's so much yelling. I was just curious if he somehow got back into the vehicle. How is there still 3 more minutes of this? Let's go. The cigarette strat not patched yet. Yeah, it still works. Ultimately, he did get a cigarette. That wasn't a lie or anything. He was allowed to smoke his cigarette there. And the second that happened, the tensions just evaporated from everyone. The officers, the family, the guy, everyone just immediately calmed down and entered Zen mode. Like, it was just all, you know, much more calm. Just the second that cigarette gets into the equation, everyone's like, oh, well, I do say, chap, look at us. What a mess we find ourselves in, huh? It was remarkable how quickly things settled down there. Now, he did still end up getting arrested for, you know, everything there, like the fleeing, and the officer says that the bucket did actually hit him, like he got hit by the arm when he swung it around, and took a picture of like an injury or something that he had there, and showed it to the others. Of course, I don't know the extent of that. It didn't really look like the bucket hit him, but it was also extremely fucking dark, so can't say for sure. But things did settle down there, and as far as excavator chases go, this one was on the more tame side. Anyway, though, I watched just about every excavator or heavy machinery chase that unfolds. It's always so fascinating to me. Anyway, that's really about it. So, yeah. Last night on stream, I learned something very interesting that I never really thought about. It was quite eye-opening, so I want to just share all of that with you in case this is news to any of you as well. Maybe you're in the same boat that I was, ignorant to sand. Not like the existence of sand, I've always known about it. In fact, I've even played in the sand. So I'm very familiar with it as, you know, a thing. But did you know how valuable sand is? So much so that there's organized crime around sand and sand theft. And that we're actually in something of a sand crisis right now. The whole thing really got me thinking. The beach is also awful. It's running out of sand and the water is basically toxic. How's it running out of sand? Go to the sand store, bro. Get more sand. Let me see. It's like I feel like we have an abundance of sand. Just go grab some. Show me the beach. This boardwalk seems kind of nice though. Okay, here we go. Let's see if they're running out of sand. Let's see the sand shortage. Go on to the beach. I want to see the sand, goddammit. Everyone's watching this to see the amount of sand left. I don't know, that seems like a healthy amount of sand. Did it used to stretch out further or something? What do you mean they're running out of sand? Maybe they contacted their local sand dealer and got a shipment or something, but it seems fine to me. They just underwent a $40 million sand replenishment project that happened in April of 2025. Okay, so let me see prior to April 2025 then. Let's do 2024. Oh, wow, that does look significantly shittier just off rip. Dude, is there supposed to be sand there? Because that shit's looking like cement. Oh, so you weren't kidding. They actually were out of sand. They had to refill 1.2 million cubic yards of sand onto the beaches. It was 100,000 dump trucks. Holy shit. Where'd the sand go? Who stole it? How did that happen? Did they just like pollute the water so much over here in Atlantic City that it just deatomized all of their sand? It left. The shit was too depressing. True, it just peaced out. They sold it! I don't even know if you're kidding, but I could absolutely see that. Oh, we got a great offer on all of our sand in the Atlantic City beach. Sold it to the fucking sand mafia. It was mainly because of Hurricane Sandy, they lost a lot of sand. Damn, that's crazy. I didn't know it was possible to lose this. Like, they lost all of their sand. Actually, all of it. You weren't even exaggerating. It's just gone. Holy. It genuinely looks like they're sitting on pavement. Wet cement. Sand Mafia is real, by the way. The market is worth $350 billion. I don't believe you for a fucking second. You're telling me the sand market is worth $350 billion. Oh my god! That's a real statistic. What the fuck? What? Bro, abandon Pokemon and stocks. Start hoarding sand. Yeah, and it's expected to only continue to grow as the need for sand continues to explode. Where are our sand makers? Do we have sand alchemists out there working on this? Where are we sourcing all of the sand? There's actual criminal orgs that steal sand from beaches. This is like some shit out of Dune where they're taking the spice crumbs. I had no idea. There's a whole Wikipedia on it called sand theft. Let's see. The unauthorized or illegal sand mining leads to relatively unknown global example of natural and non-renewable resource depletion problem comparable in extent to global water scarcity. Beach theft is illegal removal of large quantities of sand from a beach leading to full or partial disappearance of the beach. In India, illegal sand mining is the country's its largest organized criminal activity. Sand theft feeds the illegal sand trade, A black market estimated to be worth 200 to 350 billion a year, which I just saw on a different source. Illegal removal of sand damages river and marine ecosystems. Why is no one talking about this? Who's covering this up? Glass, concrete, environmental engineering, etc. No, I've always known there's a need for sand. What I didn't know is that sand isn't super plentiful. I guess in my head, I've always just assumed sand was something we'd always have easy access to in ample quantity for like, to the point where it would never be like an outrageous price or anything. It's a certain type of sand they need. Let's see. Let's see what sand mining sand gets. So it's mined from dunes or dredged from ocean and riverbeds. Why does it need to be a specific sand, though? I guess maybe just because of the composition, like the grains? Yeah, there's a ton of articles on it. Man, this apparently is a big known problem for a while. Here's a whole write-up here. The problem with our dwindling sand reserves. We're actually running out of sand. Bro, we gotta get to an outside planet quick to start mining. We need sand. Get some fucking moon dust in here. The largest importer is Singapore because they use it to make more land. Well, I know Dubai in particular imported all of their sand to literally make Dubai. I guess I just never really thought about other places extending that as well. Sand is the second most used resource on Earth after water. Man, it's kind of the unsung hero. You never really give a whole lot of thought to sand. Water kind of hogs the spotlight. Everyone knows how integral water is to life and like how needed it is on this planet, so water scarcity is always something people talk about. You never see that same courtesy extended to sand. Very interesting. Can't drink sand. That's true, but still, we need it for everything outside of drinking. Why don't we just start crushing more rocks? That's what I'm saying, bro. Let's get in the lab and just start making some sand. It can't be that difficult in composition, right? We gotta get our local shamans and alchemists on the case, bro. What about dirt? Not as a replacement for sand. I'm not trying to put sand to the side. Are we running out of dirt by chance? Because I feel like I can dig up a lot of dirt. Maybe I'm sitting on a gold mine. Imagine a dirt beach. Hey, if we run out of sand, bro, we're going to be going right to that dirt. So it's coming. It's right around the corner. So it looks like we're not really in like a dirt scarcity, though there is a bit of like a soil concern, like lack of usable soil, which makes sense. I know about that. How big is the dirt industry? How big is that market? Worth an estimated 17.9, or no, it is speculated that it'll be worth 17.1 billion by 2035. Currently, it is worth 9.81 billion, according to precedent research here. So even dirt is extremely valuable, but a fraction of the size of sand. Maybe I gotta get on this dirt train. Maybe dirt's the next come up. I could be like an early adopter. I missed Bitcoin, but maybe I'm there for dirt. You're gonna get rugged by the moles. We're running out of helium. That one's a major problem. That one I know about very well. I've talked about the helium problem. Man, I gotta start thinking about this dirt angle, actually. This shit seems a little under-tapped right now. Flying under the radar. Though, it seems like to get dirt in any, like, meaningful valuation, I would need metric tons of dirt. I would literally be building... What would that even be? Like an office building worth of dirt? Like if I was to start stockpiling it to try and capitalize off the dirt market in lieu of the sand empire starting to falter. Actually, hold on, let me look that up. Let me see. So if I was to start stockpiling metric tons of dirt... Oh no, this isn't even economically viable in any way, shape, or form, because what I've also now just thought of as I'm looking at these pricing, the transportation of it, even to sell it, would fuck me. That would actually cook me. Man, think about all the times in your backyard as a kid you were out there making fucking mud pies, not realizing you were playing with actual gold. You're starting to sound like you believe it. I mean, there's someone out there. There is some guy at the top of the dirt food chain right now who's hearing this sweating like, oh god, hopefully no one else starts to think about dirt like I have. Because this guy's a fucking billionaire off an empire of dirt. And he's been able to do it in the goddamn shadows. Let's make it more localized. Who sells the most dirt in America? I'm getting dirt bikes. I don't want dirt bikes. I want dirt. The best I'm getting here is the fucking AI overview, which could be entirely wrong. It says no single company sells the most dirt because it's incredibly heavy and shipping it across long distances is highly inefficient. So, what it seems to me is that there probably isn't really like a centralized dirt company. Like the Microsoft of dirt. It sounds like it's probably like local organizations, probably government run, that do fills, would be my guess. Which means there's a gap in the fucking market. I'm telling you, bro. Dirt might be the future. Try looking up some aggregates instead of dirt. No, I want just the dirt guy. I don't want the guy who deals in like dirt adjacent shit. I want the guy who's just selling dirt and nothing else. You come to me for one thing, dirt. That's me. That's all I do. I'm the dirt dude. That's the only thing I got. In 2008, there were 500 truckloads of sand stolen in Jamaica. 500 truckloads? Holy shit. What does it even look like? What do I type in, like sand heist? The heist of the century, an entire beach stolen overnight. They stole a 400-meter stretch of beach. There's articles all the way back in 2008 here from The Guardian going over just how insane this crime is. Wow. Hundreds of tons of white sand vanished from a planned resort on the island's north coast in July, but 3 months later there's no signs of suspects nor sand. An estimated 500 truckloads of sand were removed from the Coral Springs beach in Trelawney and were believed to have been sold to rival resorts, a hefty logistical feat which has stumped police. That has to be something easy to find, right? Selling 500 truckloads worth of sand to rival resorts, you would easily easily be able to track that. That is the hardest shit in the world to move. 500 truckloads. They stole a whole beach. It's not like they can tell whose sand is whose. But what they could easily tell is, oh, like these dudes gave us a great deal on sand. Yeah, no, they just came up to us one day at the reception like, hey, we got like, 200 trucks worth of sand we'll give it to you at a steal. Like a great price. It'd have to be easy. Plus, where are they storing an entire fucking beach? What are they going to do? Check the serial numbers on the sand? That's not even what I'm saying. I'm saying you'd easily be able to find the people who were selling it. Or find where they were storing it. It's a fucking beach! They had 500 planes ready to leave the country. The perfect crime. Can you imagine? You've got the receivers of the stolen sand, or what we believe to be the sand, the trucks themselves, the organizers, and of course there's some suspicion that some police were in collusion with the movers. Oh, interesting. Man on the inside. A lot of sand is used in unregulated home building across the Caribbean island, but scale and organization behind Trelawney heist, amounting to 1,300 feet of sand, raise suspicions that hotels may have been involved. Huh. Would mud be less valuable because it's not as concentrated? You're talking to a guy that's only just learned about this today, but in my expert opinion, I'd say no, because maybe you dry it out and you sell it to your dirt guy. Maybe get some worms in there too.
Now, we aren't the only ones digging into this next story. Not at all. A Vernal man is due in court next week facing felony theft charges, but it wasn't diamonds or even gold or money the man is accused of taking. His loot?
Something far more valuable.
33 dump trucks worth of dirt.
No!
Tracy reports tonight.
Fuck, he's seen the vision. He knows.
Julie Mata purchased this land here in the Drive Mission. According to court documents, it was over 400 cubic yards of dirt that was taken out of this area, creating this giant pit. It took a dump truck 33 times up and down the canyon to load out this dirt.
This is what they have done to our property. I drove.
Now listen, I understand this isn't what you wanted, but you've got yourself the start of a good berm here. Just turn it into a little range, a little backyard range. Glass half full. And that dude's got 33 dump trucks of dirt now.
His attorney eventually reached out to say he disputes the charges, but won't provide a statement while the case is pending. As for Julie, she waits to see how the pending case...
So how do you dispute those, by the way? Just curious. No, I didn't steal your dirt. Yeah, I might have wheeled 33 dump trucks or I might have wheeled my dump truck in and out of there 33 times with a full load of dirt, but it was part of your upgrades. How do you fight back against that? Didn't you talk about a story a few years back where someone's driveway was stolen? Yeah, but that's a sophisticated crime for the thinking thief. This is just deplorable. You're stealing 33 trucks worth of dirt. I don't know you, but I know enough to guess with a high level of confidence that you've been angry before. Unless I got the Dalai Lama watching or something. I bet there have been moments in your life where you've been fuming, extremely angry. It's natural. It's normal. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, earlier today, I was angry. I was driving and a spider went across my windshield. And it was a rather large spider. This puppy was set to Wumbo. And I don't have arachnophobia or anything, but I don't like them. And I certainly don't like them on my windshield. So, I pulled over, and in my cup holder had a receipt. So I thought, that'll be good enough. I'll just blast it with the receipt. And as I go to do that, it hits me with like a running back move. It hits me with like a double sidestep and then jumps on my arm. Then I fucking freak out and start like slapping my arm and screaming like a maniac. And I can't find the spider anymore. That makes me frown. It makes me angry. I'm sure there's plenty of things that have made you angry. But have you ever been so angry that you light a 1.2 million square foot warehouse on fire and will most likely spend many, many years behind bars for it and film the whole thing for Instagram? Probably not, I would say. Most likely no. But I did just hear of someone who did. And it is a fascinating story because the anger makes sense. Like the reason why this employee was angry, I think a lot of people can understand. But drastic measures like this did nothing except ruin his life.
should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
This is a Kimberly-Clark warehouse that apparently served 50 million people. It was located in California, and a disgruntled 29-year-old employee filmed these videos, posted them on Instagram of him lighting it on fire, and it completely fucking torched it. It like incinerated this whole facility. Pretty fucking stupid plan. Extremely dangerous, could have easily killed people in the warehouse. The fire could have spread outside of the warehouse as well. It's California. California fires, like, that spreads a lot. This could have caused so much more damage, destruction, and death in this like raging inferno that he created here.
Again, thankfully, nobody was injured in that fire. No firefighters or none of the employees. They were all evacuated safely.
So, Nick, we should note you were just listening in on that news conference. That's why we couldn't go right to you. So this employee, a 29-year-old, did they say what he did there at that plant?
It's unclear exactly what he did. What we know is that they house lots of Kimberly-Clark products here. Again, this is a 1.2 million square foot warehouse here. So very large space filled with products. We know that they load the trucks up and distribute them. We don't know specifically what that man did.
I feel like we have some strong evidence to what that man did. He filmed it himself. I'm surprised it wasn't streamed on Kick. Like, this has become a very common phenomenon where people film or stream themselves committing crimes, in this case, arson. So he made it very clear what he was doing and why, the motive. He was upset with the pay, saying that all they had to do was pay him enough to fucking live. Which is a very real problem, something I have yapped about for years, about how so many jobs right now in the country don't actually pay their employees a livable wage. And as things keep getting more and more expensive, it's not like the pay is being risen to try and help them, enable them to live. It is a huge problem. But the solution this guy cooked up in his noodle is not the optimal play, because now all he's going to do is land himself in jail. He's not going to be getting paid there. And on top of that, all of the workers at that warehouse, they are now out of work for who knows how long, and maybe they get canned because of it. I mean, this is a huge warehouse. This is going to take a long time to rebuild and get all that inventory and stuff back. Maybe they just start laying off employees that were working there. So now he has also ruined other people's income on top of that. So it's not exactly like the best plan that he's cooked up here, as shocking as that is to hear that arson didn't save the day. It is an issue. His anger is understandable, but this didn't do anything to solve it. It's not like that this company is all of a sudden going to have a come to Jesus moment like, oh, we didn't know that by underpaying our employees, it would make them frustrated. But now that an entire 1.2 million square foot warehouse been burnt down because of our folly, we will change our ways. We now see the light. Our third eye is open. Enlightenment. Time to raise everyone's pay. It's just not going to happen.
Do is pay us enough to live.
Chilling video posted online by the suspect appears to show the moment a massive warehouse fire was deliberately set.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live.
Investigators say the man behind the camera is 29-year-old Shamel Abdul Karim.
He was believed to be an employee of Kimberly-Clark. However, it is confirmed that he is an employee of NFI Industries, the third-party distributor of Kimberly-Clark.
Officials say he had posted grievances online before igniting the Ontario, California warehouse on fire.
Now, I've actually seen people applauding this, saying that they need to start a GoFundMe ASAP so that way they can donate to him because he's a hero. He's standing up to capitalism. Finally, enough is enough. We need more of this across the country. That's fucking ridiculous. That's like actual dangerous, stupid brain. Like, people are saying, oh, wah, crying over all this lost product from, billion-dollar corporation, that kind of thing. I don't know how people can be so, out of tune with reality. It's not even about, lost products or anything. It's about how easily people could have died in that, how it could have spread way beyond just that warehouse, and how this doesn't even really affect the company all that much. They have insurance. You know who this actually affects? is the employees that are most likely going to be out of work here while this facility is out of commission and under maintenance, so they're going to be out income, and he just threw his whole life away for this, and it's not going to do anything to actually help people get a livable wage from this company or anything like that. It's just reckless, dangerous, jeopardizing tons of people's lives and safety and the area around him. This could have caused a huge fucking problem. Like I said, it's California. Wildfires spread wider than Kash Patel's butt cheeks. Like, in that area, this could have easily spiraled way out of control, way beyond just that warehouse as well. Like, this is just not something anyone should be like. Anyway, there is something other people have pointed out as like a very surprising element to the fire itself, that a warehouse of this size housing this much supply, apparently this accounts for like 3% of West Coast volume for toilet paper in particular, from what I was reading. I don't know if that's like confirmed or how true that is, but it is a huge facility that houses a lot of paper product. And one thing people were noting is that the fire suppression system didn't really do a whole lot to stop this. And I was doing a bit of digging because they definitely have a fire suppression system. I don't know if they like maintain it, like maybe it was malfunctioning. From what I read, it apparently was working. But because he started multiple fires in multiple locations, it just wasn't effective at stopping the spread. So that's how it was able to get so out of control. And also, apparently the alarms were working because they were able to get the employees out. So I do feel like the systems were functioning how they were supposed to. It's just must have started a lot of fires that overwhelmed whatever system they have there. Or maybe they just don't have the best system there. I couldn't tell you, but I saw this earlier today, and I just had to yap about it. It was fucking crazy to see. And the fact that he filmed all of it, gathered his own evidence against himself, and freely posted online, that's become so common now. People love to film their own crimes. And this is probably like the biggest display of that I've seen so far. Anyway, that's really about it. So, yeah. Island Boy. Did that just send you into a fight or flight response? Yeah, I bet it did. That's a name you probably haven't heard in many moons now. The Island Boys have had a huge fall off. Very few people even remember them. I completely forgot they existed until a clip surfaced of one of them doing a 20 women versus one Island Boy, and he was just getting brutally cooked, absolutely roasted. It wasn't like a dating thing, it was more just 20 women line up to insult this guy to his face, but he is so unbelievably stupid, he can't even understand half of the insults. It's cinema, and I have to share it with all of you.
In today's video, we got 20 women versus one Island Boy.
This intro had me giggling hard. I was hooked immediately. 20 women versus one Island Boy. And the guy's just awkwardly sitting there doing this. That kind of thing. Oh, man. I knew I was in for a good time watching this.
Alright, what's up? Listen, I'm the Island Boy. I'm here with this girl. What's your name?
Annie.
Annie. I'm gonna rate you 8.
I didn't think it was possible to have this low of a charisma stat. This guy can very barely get words out of his mouth. And he looks like he is like spamming idle animations on a Mortal Kombat character select screen just to stay somewhat lucid. Because it looks like if he stopped moving for more than like 3 seconds, like stopped swaying, his whole body would shut off. It looks like he is perpetually on the verge of passing out. Like his brain has to work so hard just to get a few neurons to fire to do the bare minimum of human sentience. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Oh, she's an A. Why you give her just an A, bro?
I don't know. Are you Asian?
Yeah.
You're Asian?
Mm-hmm.
Like fully Asian?
I'm half Vietnamese.
I don't know, because I heard Asian girls have like bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who told you that?
I f***ed the Asian girl before.
Oh, it's not me though.
It's not you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What am I supposed to do with her? Yes?
So how you feel? You said swipe right?
Yeah.
Swipe right is good.
Nice! Look at the way the island boy handles business here. Smooth-talking, silver-tongued Casanova. Are you Asian? I heard Asian girls have something pussy, I think is what he said. And then she said, okay, where'd you hear that? And he just goes, I fucked an Asian girl. So you heard it from yourself. I also don't think he fucked an Asian girl, by the way. I think he was trying to look cool. It's incredible how just, even through the computer screen, I'm getting dry. Like, it's making me, like, shrivel up into myself. I can only imagine what it's like to be in the same room as this kind of vermin. Like, it's like a Dementor of vibes. He comes in, he just sucks out all good vibes and leaves nothing but awkward cringe in its wake.
Swipe right.
Like, right eye, so she good.
Okay. Yeah, what the
You have nothing to say? What?
do you have a fake chain or something?
How can someone be this observably dumb? He is an actual imbecile. Every time he opens his mouth, you can hear the idiot inside of him. This guy is actually just fucking stupid. By every measurable metric imaginable, he is just fucking dumb. And he can't interact with people at all. So even on this dating show, he can't muster the bare minimum of introducing himself. The best he can do is interrogate her about a fake chain. And the host of this has to keep prodding the island boy for a couple of extra thoughts because he just can't speak in more than like 3 words at a time. So the host is like, why'd you rate that girl an 8? Or, why do you think that, Fly? That's the island boy's name. This is Fly, one half of the island boys. It's unfathomable. And honestly, seeing that they're successful should show you just how far we have devolved as a species, that we allow someone like this to have as much money as he does. It's so embarrassing. It's so fucking sad and pathetic.
You have fake chains, so what's the problem with me having a fake chain?
I don't have any chains on.
Well, I mean, you have fake chains, so like, if I have a fake chain, why is that? You're
Girl,
supposed to be asking my name and introducing yourself.
Girl, what are you talking about? I have fake chains?
Well, you're asking about my chain. Like, are you introducing yourself? What's your name?
Okay, yes, my name is Fly.
Fly, you kissed your brother.
I most definitely kissed my brother.
Yep, uh-huh.
And I made millions off of it.
Oh, congratulations, bro. You'd do it again?
No.
You wouldn't? Okay, valid. I mean, I wouldn't either.
Wait, Fly, why you say no? Like, why you say you wouldn't, bro?
I feel like the host also despises this worm. He's constantly kind of poking him like, so why wouldn't you kiss your brother anymore, Fly? Come on, explain it. Now, this is the clip that went viral, is this lady in the gray outfit. She came on and just instantly tears this guy's asshole apart. She stretches Fly's ass full goatsy and does not let up. So she immediately lets the audience know that Fly makes out with his brother for internet attention and money online. Fly likes to claim that through kissing his brother, he makes millions, which is a full-blown fib. That is a super lie. There is no way he and his brother have generated millions of dollars through them constantly making out in those videos. Nobody wants to see that disgusting shit. The only reason the Island Boys did make money is because they were paid for appearances so people could clown on them. And the people that watch them solely to make fun of them. They are a public spittoon that people like spitting on. So they made a lot of money through that. Not through the incest that they used to like to film for content online. He definitely hasn't made millions from making out with his brother.
If you made millions off of it, wouldn't you do it again?
Because look, to be honest with you, like she said, I had fake chains on.
You said is my chain fake.
And to be honest with you, listen, I wouldn't. Okay, if I was to walk past by you at the mall, I would. Well, I don't go to malls. But I wouldn't even look at you.
Thank God.
He can't even process a question. The host said, why wouldn't you do that anymore, Fly, about making out with his brother? Explain why you'd put the kibosh on that. And it didn't register at all. He completely forgot that ever existed because his brain is so fucking poisoned from drugs and lean and whatever else. So he completely forgot about that and then said, like, because she talked about me having fake chains. So you stopped kissing your brother because she came in here and said that you have fake chains? What are you talking about, you fucking weirdo? You absolute degenerate scumbag weirdo. And then he's like, if I passed you in a mall, actually I don't go to malls. But if I pass by you, I wouldn't look at you.
Yeah, I mean, you're my height, you're scrawny, you're skinnier than me, you wear a size small, you made out with your brother, everyone thinks you're Jeffrey Epstein's son. Like, I mean, good job.
Okay.
You're looking for your third baby mother because the first two you couldn't keep?
My third baby mama.
No?
Why would I? Why
why are you on a 2v1? I'm just asking.
Because
you
I was
yourself.
asked to. Okay.
You could have just introduced yourself.
Listen.
If you're gonna be rude, I'll be rude too.
Bro, just listen. Look.
Okay, now I'll listen.
Okay. Listen, you look like you're from Minnesota.
Okay, and you look like you're 5'2".
Okay, that's fine.
Do you have like booster shoes?
No, I don't have booster shoes.
Do you have a booster seat for when you drive?
I like his shoes though. I ain't gonna lie though. I like his shoes
His shoes are
though.
hard, but they have a little extra height option.
Why are we all playing around about his shoes looking hard? They are not. That looks like some shit I would have worn when I was 8 years old with the little light up things on the bottom of your shoes where it gives like little RGB gamer lights when you take steps. That looks like what he's wearing. He is wearing bedazzled fucking combat boots with 5-inch heels on them. They are not cool. And she is absolutely right. This guy is a loser, and she is just saying that directly to his face, insulting him, and it just looks like he is in a state of blue screening in the brain. Like he is just constantly blue screened. He can't grasp a thought, he can't talk, and he doesn't know what anyone's saying to him, it sounds like. I imagine what goes through his head is what went through Spike's head in that episode of Rugrats when you got the POV of Spike the dog, where anytime like the parents were talking to Spike, it was "Abu-ba-gabba-go-babba-ga, Spike." Like that's what I imagine the island boy hears anytime someone speaks to him.
Look, I'm gonna keep real with you. I spend a lot of money on my drip.
That's great. That's awesome. I saw you shopping at Lululemon the other day.
Dude, at Lululemon, it was for a girl.
Okay, good.
Girl, I have a mansion. I have a nice car.
That's rented on Airbnb?
I have a nice car.
I'm so proud of you.
Okay.
Good job.
And you're broke as
Okay, yes. Did kissing your brother get you the mansion?
Girl, to be honest, you need to dye your hair black. Because you look
black?
Yes, because you look emo.
Okay, now I'm emo?
Yeah, not you.
I'm emo because you kissed your brother?
Your teeth are yellow.
Okay, that's fine. I can get them fixed. But you can't unkiss your brother.
Okay. Bro, why am I talking to this stupid...
It's like he's about to cry. That one he understood. That one penetrated his infinity layer of stupidity that surrounds his body. That one made it through. That insult landed, and he is not happy. Jiminy Christmas, just listening to him, though, his insults. Your teeth are yellow. You should dye your hair black because you're emo. Like... How do you even take someone like that seriously? It's so pathetic. It's almost pitiful. Like I almost feel bad for him if he wasn't just such an insufferable douchebag asshole.
Because you kept talking. I kept responding.
Girl, I'm better than you.
You're not. You're my height.
My status is better than you.
Says who?
Okay.
You're famous for what? You get clowned on the internet for fun. Good job. You're famous for getting laughed at.
What do you want to be?
Oh, Jinkies, she is so right. Their entire legacy, their entire existence is just to be laughed at. They are just a laughing stock, and they have made some money off of just being those clowns. He is not better than her. He likes to try and pretend that he's better than everyone he interacts with and his status is so much better. But she's right. He's just someone that people can't help but point and laugh at because they're fucking losers.
Sienna, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know. But when I grow up, I don't want to make out with my brother, and I want to keep my husband. I don't want to have 3 baby mamas.
Watch, now she gets stuck.
I didn't get stuck. I just responded.
What car do you drive?
Why does it matter what car I drive? I'm a woman. You're a man. So why are you bag checking me? Can you not compete with a man? Do you feel like insecure competing with men?
No, to be honest with you,
okay.
I do this all the time.
Oh, you compete with girls all the time? I know. You argue with women a lot on the internet. I see.
Brutal. Just absolutely brutal. She is just spanking him over and over and over again. And anytime Fly tries to get any sentence out, he keeps stumbling over his words and just bumbling them. So then the host steps in to try and, steer it a little more. But even the host then just starts sarcastically making fun of Fly too. And Fly is too fucking dumb to recognize that everyone in this facility is insulting him and making fun of him, laughing at him.
Hold on, I think we're getting confused. Sienna, look, listen.
Nice to meet you, though.
Just by looking at Fly, if you had to rate him 1 through 10, what would you rate him?
Listen, to be honest with you,
Is your brother taller?
He's my twin.
So no, they're both short. I don't know. He's like a 4.5. You know, his personality brings it down.
Sienna, he got some drip on though. You know the drip.
Cool. The outfit is cool.
He's
but
drippy.
The personality
Bro,
brings
I don't
it
give
down.
about my outfit.
I'm so glad.
I don't. To be honest with you.
So now the host and Sienna are kind of just like bonding here over talking about Fly and also talking over him too, because I feel like no one wants to hear him get these fucking words out that he's struggling through. So now they're just talking over him and about him and laughing at him.
What went wrong, bro? What happened?
Bro, to be honest with you, if this was to go viral, it's because of me. And to be honest with you,
you ain't like her?
No, she's a fan. No.
Wait, hold on, Flash. Let her at least step up to the plate right quick.
The host has me laughing, man. I gotta be honest. He's like, okay, Fly, so what went wrong there? What's crazy is the host had to step in to even like have a conversation through Fly because he is completely incapable of talking to human beings. So the host was really the one talking with Sienna. And then, you know, he eventually breaks down and gets her to get out of there, you know, tells her scram, and then everyone, you can literally hear everyone in the studio laughing at the island boy. So now he's pouting, so now he's like crouched over, really upset, and he's got a little tantrum going on. So the next girl that steps up, he just instantly says, no, get out of here, no.
Immediately no? Is it because she made you mad, or is it like genuinely like no, just immediately?
Immediately no, to be honest with you.
Can I ask why?
She calls him out on it too, like, is it just because you're mad? Because of what happened there, where you just got absolutely fucking smacked down there like it was WWE? Is that what's going on here? He's like, no, it's just immediately no. It's just immediately no.
Because
you gotta introduce yourself. I don't think he's ever had like some nice chocolate in his life. Like, you know what I'm saying? He done experienced the white, the Hispanic. Fly, what you know about chocolate, bro?
I fucked a black girl before, and to be honest with you, she just played NBA YoungBoy, and she just.
I don't even listen to that. I don't listen to most rapper trap music. My name's Mila, by the way.
Okay. I also don't like your name.
He's such a fucking loser. It's crazy. Like you could not write or create a bigger loser of a character in a show, right? Like a cartoon couldn't make someone this pathetic. It goes against conventional wisdom that he exists in the current state that he does. He is shockingly pathetic. And I couldn't watch the whole thing. It was just too painful just listening to him. So I skipped to the end because the title says Gone Wrong, and I wasn't sure if it was about him just getting roasted all the time or if there was something like that went crazy. And I think it refers to how it ends, which is him basically just walking off. I think he finally started to recognize that no one there respects him. No one there takes him seriously. He is a fucking joke. So then he eventually storms off.
That looking cool.
Because
I would paint you.
That's hard.
I don't really need your paint because it's not gonna do nothing for me.
Okay.
So, right, you good, you straight, go.
He said you good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have to get that painting in. Hold on, we might have to see that painting.
I'm out of this bitch.
No. Wait, can I go next? Can I go next at least?
Can I go in your car?
What do you mean, can you go in their car? What about your car? Don't you drive something super nice, Fly? I have to imagine you're rolling around in some kind of Ferrari or a Lambo or something, right, dude? From all the millions you made making out with your brother? Why are you trying to bum a ride off of someone in the studio? That's not very hard. Especially when half of what he said throughout this was about his money and his status. That's a little weird and peculiar. But yeah, that's kind of where it ends. It then just goes on to like behind the scenes shots of him just like waddling his way around and people laughing at him. It's yeah, I mean that's kind of the whole 20v1 there on the island, boy. What an adventure. What a journey. That shit was something special. I had to yap about it. That's about it. So yeah. Marty Supreme. I feel like a lot of you have heard this name recently because Timothée Chalamet has done such an incredible job at generating hype for it, most notably by shouting it out multiple times on a very popular song where he collabed with an artist who a lot of people had a tinfoil condom conspiracy cooked up that he was actually this UK rapper, and then in order to dispel the rumors, he collabed with the rapper and then dropped a verse where he shouted out Marty Supreme a few times. He was on the Las Vegas Sphere shouting out Marty Supreme. And I knew nothing about this movie before all of this from Timothée Chalamet, so I went into it pretty blind. The only thing I knew about it is that ping pong was there. Boy howdy, let me tell you what, I do love me some ping pong. I'm pretty nasty at it. I can clap cheeks on the table. So that was pretty exciting as like a core component of this movie, but it's where the extent of my knowledge of Marty Supreme stopped. I just bought into the hype train because I was really entertained by Timothée Chalamet's promotions for it. So I just got back from it. It was good. Like, very good, actually. So I was talking about it on stream, and I made a comparison saying I got similar vibes watching Marty Supreme as I did to Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. And turns out they're from the same director, which makes sense. Safdie has truly mastered the art of capturing chaos and stress and carrying that momentum throughout an entire movie without ever letting up. It is unrelenting. So Marty Supreme follows Marty Mauser, who is a narcissist douchebag. He is an absolute scumbag who uses people till they have no more things to offer him in order to elevate himself to where he believes he needs to be, which is displaying his talents, capitalizing off of his God-given ability to bend people over on ping pong tables. He is an extremely talented table tennis player, and as such, he wants to be the face of the sport that he believes is going to take over the U.S. He is uniquely positioned, as he believes, to be the best possible candidate to make table tennis even bigger than it already is. And what a fucking journey it is. There's not a ton of ping pong played in here, though when it is played, I was pretty hyped, kind of wiggling in my seat excitedly. I love ping pong, so that was fun to watch. But that's not the most important part of this. It really is a exploration of one man's fucking unhinged journey. I could never expect where the movie goes next. So like even from the very beginning, it immediately puts you in the middle of like stressful arguments. Not to the point where it becomes incomprehensible, where like they're just talking over each other and yelling so you don't even know what the fuck's being said anymore. It sounds like Charlie Brown's parents. They do such a good job at capturing this chaos of like a real argument where someone's trying to like convince someone of something while the other person's trying to stand their ground. So unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. And it works really well. And it usually ends with Marty Mauser getting what he wants out of that person, whether it's, you know, some kind of partnership or some kind of handout. He's very, very good at manipulating people, either for money or whatever, for his own personal gain. But he's also just so lost in his sauce, huffing his own farts, that he will also step over the line more often than not, where he will push the person away and ruin a good opportunity for himself. Like, you always expect him to have like this come to Jesus moment where he like simmers down, calms down, and he never does. It's always just over the top, extreme. He is just such an asshole. But the film isn't just Marty Mauser using people. Like I said, you go on a crazy fucking journey that takes twists and turns I never saw coming. Like, there's this whole subplot where he goes to a hotel, and Tyler, the Creator's here, which shocked the fuck out of me. Like I said, I knew nothing about this movie, so when Tyler, the Creator, shows up, I probably would have been less surprised if I saw my own dad in this film. I didn't see that coming at all. Tyler, the Creator, does like a really good job of playing with Marty Mauser here as like his cohort, where they scam together and they're good friends. And while they are while Marty's in the middle of turmoil where he's facing a lot of unpaid debt and he needs to find a way to get to Japan to go to the World Championship, but after what happened at the last major tournament, it's not looking real good. And so they end up at a hotel. He rents a room. He's, of course, using Tyler, the Creator. He is very clearly exploiting him for his own personal gain because he needs money now and a place to stay. So while they're at this hotel, he takes a bath, which is something that the hotel owner said, do not do, don't use the bathroom. He does, and while doing so, the tub crashes through the fucking floor and blows up the dude's hand who was underneath him cleaning his dog, who we met in the lobby. The dog is fine, the dude's hand is fucked, he needs to go to the hospital, and it's just so much chaos erupting out of nowhere, and then it becomes a very big piece where he needs to take that dog to the vet because that guy whose hand just got absolutely annihilated, like it went through the goddamn wood chipper, is offering him money to take his dog to the vet because his dog is sick and needs some help. So the two of them then go take the dog, but they don't go to the vet. They use the money that he got paid for it to gamble it, not really gamble it. They go and scam others through hustling to make even more money, and when they get even more money, they get found out that they're hustlers, then they get tracked down by people who are about to beat the fuck out of them, just kill them right then and there. They escape, the dog escapes, and now the dog's lost, and now he's being hunted by the guy whose arm he broke because now his dog is missing. It is just so much that keeps happening, and every time I thought that they were giving him an out, he fucking blows it up. He ruins it. Not in like a way that doesn't make sense. It's a very Marty Mauser thing to do, to be handed an opportunity that could actually save him and actually get him out of the hole, and then just wipe his ass with it. It is just so well done. And I really think something that stood out to me a lot was the music. The music makes this so tense. It reminded me of Courage the Cowardly Dog music from time to time. They crushed it with the score. It's haunting. What will play when Marty Mauser's going through, like, you know, some kind of episode. And what makes all of this work is this 1-2 combo, this fucking two-piecing here of really strong writing. Like, I actually think they did a great job with writing these characters. Like I said, I think they have mastered the art of capturing stress and, like, bringing you into the stress. And also, an incredible performance from Timothée Chalamet. Not just Timothée Chalamet, everyone really does a good job. The weakest one, probably Kevin O'Leary, but even Kevin O'Leary delivers a fine performance because he fundamentally just plays himself. There were a couple scenes where I thought for sure he was going to say, "You fucked my wife and for that reason, I'm out." Like, it really is him just being Mr. Wonderful. So he didn't do like a poor job or anything, but everyone delivered like a top tier performance, especially Timothée Chalamet. Now, I've become somewhat of a fan of Timothée Chalamet over the last, like, year or so. I think he's been choosing, like, good projects, and he is very good in them. And I also really like how he is just very unapologetically being himself and being excited about what he's in. So, like, I saw in one of his speeches, he's like, I'm trying to be the greatest, I'm trying to be the best, and I really think I've been delivering some incredible performances. I actually really like that mentality. I feel like some people might get rubbed the wrong way, that it's like, you know, arrogant or something, but I like that. It reminds me of like an athlete or someone who is striving to be the best at what they do. And I think he really is trying to get up there with the fucking greats. And with performances like these, he shows he has the jaw for it. It shows he's got the talent. I really was very entertained by Marty Supreme. Again, I knew nothing about it going into it. I was fully open to the idea that this might just be trash, that they were desperately trying to make a break even on or something with having Timothée Chalamet shouted out all the time. That's not the case. I can see why he's so proud of it. It is a very good movie. It was extremely entertaining watching Marty Mauser basically solve a problem and then immediately fuck himself in his own face right after. So, like, he is extremely good at getting people to do his bidding and putty in his hands, but he always keeps going. He doesn't know how to stop. It is just so hectic, so chaotic. So even, like, when he is in a position where problems would be behind him if he would just, you know, call it quits right there, put the kibosh on the talking and the bravado and everything, he can't. Best example, and the one that really caught me off guard, is towards the end of the film. Spoiler warning. I've given little light spoilers. This is another, like, light spoiler. It's not the biggest one in the world, but just warning. As he is, like, on his hands and knees at the very at his wit's end. He has to get to Japan because he needs to go to the world championship to prove he is the best in the world. But he still doesn't have the money. Everything else is crash and burned around him. Everyone has been hurt around him. His last-ditch Hail Mary was to try and manipulate Gwyneth Paltrow's character into somehow giving him the money through making him, through portraying himself as like very sympathetic and all of that, where she'd feel inclined to help. It's not really working, but eventually he weasels his way to her basically giving him a necklace that her husband gives her every year that's worth a lot of money, but she hates her fucking husband. Guy's a dweeb, tired of him. She gives him the necklace because he can sell it, get the money, go to Japan, do what he needs to do to prove his greatness. And he then kisses her. And I thought that would be the end of it. They exchange a kiss, and he now has his problem solved. And he just keeps going. So a kiss turns into him eating her out in a public park in the middle of the night. And then cops are there and they see that and they stop them both. And then they end up having to give the cops the necklace to bribe them to stay out of jail. So now he's back to square fucking one. It didn't solve his problem. And I thought for sure that's where they were going. I thought that was going to be his out. It's not. So now he still has to solve this fucking problem in another way. It is so good that the ride never stops. Even when you think you see how it's going to go, it doesn't go in that direction. I was so entertained with this movie, man. I really did like Marty Supreme a lot. Is it a perfect film? No. I think this is definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea either. I feel like if you watched Uncut Gems and didn't like how hectic and how stressful and even at times headache-inducing a lot of the conversations and scenarios were, this movie probably will not appeal to you. It has very similar DNA to that. He's fast-talking. It's very back and forth, or even, one person trying to overpower the other in a conversation. Like, it is going to be a lot that maybe people will find to be more frustrating than entertaining. I get that. But for me, I really did like it. Had me giggling, had me entertained, and made me want to get back to practicing ping pong. It lived up to the hype. If you're watching this, Timothée Chalamet, let me know if you ever want to catch these hands at ping pong. I think I've got a real shot. I don't know if he actually plays ping pong in real life, or if this is all CGI, phony baloney, smoke and mirrors, which I doubt it. It seemed very real ping pong there for the most part. So I imagine he probably practiced a lot for the film, and I think he would be a worthy opponent. But anyway, I liked Marty Supreme. I thought it was very good. That's about it. So yeah. Wow. Actually, huge wow. A massive batch of Epstein files just dropped in hot, fresh off the battle bus here from the top turnbuckle out of nowhere. I didn't think we'd even see any more with the DOJ putting up that huge stink even recently about like how courts can't force them to release it, this and that. It seemed like this was never going to happen because getting them to comply with the law was like pulling teeth. So they were a month late, but they actually released like millions of Epstein files. And there are huge, disgusting, evil things that have been uncovered in this latest batch of Epstein files. This time around, it's a little different than their previous release where there were hundreds of pages of blacked out redactions and that was basically it. This is what you saw with the Epstein files, except I thought that was going to make the camera go black. You get the idea. It was basically just staring into the fucking void. It was just pitch black because everything was redacted. It was just a lot of nothing. But even amidst that nothing, they were so fucking incompetent that they left in the ability to unredact the files yourself, where people were able to catch them breaking the law, where a lot of the redacted names were not names of victims. They were various other things, and a lot of the redactions were clearly not victims. Sometimes it even seemed like the redactions were there to protect the names of potential clients and perpetrators, which again is a complete violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act that they were supposed to be following. But again, even with them farting out completely blacked out pages to protect these pedophiles in power, there were still a lot of huge revelations that came from this, such as co-conspirators that for some reason they never pursued. We don't know who they were because their names have been redacted conveniently, but we learned that there were co-conspirators they were investigating, and I guess they just let the leads dry up and then just said, fiddlesticks, they're gone. Now time to pretend they don't exist. Like Kash Patel under oath lying about it. Perjury Patel, by the way, still not punished for it. And speaking of unpunished, you know who else has been unpunished? Every fucking Epstein client, all of these rapists and pedophiles, all of them still just getting away with these unthinkable crimes. No one being handcuffed and thrown in the slammer. Doesn't even seem like they're pursuing any investigations or anything into it. Across 2 administrations now, no fucking arrests outside of Maxwell, who Trump has done everything in his power to ensure she is treated like a queen at a new summer camp that she now resides at. Barely even a fucking prison. This is lunacy of the highest caliber. Now anyway, I know I'm getting kind of sidetracked here with like the previously on Dragon Ball Z with this whole saga. The most recent batch of Epstein files came out a couple hours ago. Millions of files, so people are still combing through them, but what they are finding is alarming. Trump's name, of course, is all over these files. His name appears more in these Epstein files than Green Eggs and Ham appeared in the fucking Green Eggs and Ham Dr. Seuss book. His name is everywhere with numerous allegations about terrible, awful things. Some things we had heard little bits and pieces about from previous Epstein releases, but this one has significantly more, including this FBI report that claims Trump has been compromised by Israel, which anyone who's been paying attention to this administration shouldn't really be surprised at. I don't think anyone heard that and recoiled in their chair going, "What?" If anyone's followed everything that's been going on in regards to Trump and Israel, it should be no surprise that the FBI believed he was compromised, is compromised as well, most likely. But this is, again, new information that is hitting the public here from official sources in these Epstein files. These are big. Another huge name appearing in here is Bill Gates. So Bill Gates had an exchange with Jeffrey Epstein, and I think it's been known for a long time Bill Gates was associated with Jeffrey Epstein, but this information here is new that talks about how he contracted an STD apparently and had asked Jeffrey Epstein to provide him with antibiotics that he could secretly dose Melinda with. He had contracted it from Russian girls apparently. Another massive name coming in is Elon Musk, who had an email chain with Jeffrey Epstein that was in these files about him trying to plan a visit to Jeffrey Epstein's island, and he seemed to want to find the wildest party, the best time to come through to the island, and he was trying to make plans to go visit the island. These new files also expose blatant lies that a lot of really powerful people tried to peddle to get themselves out of hot water in regards to their close connection to Jeffrey Epstein, like Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick is Trump's commerce secretary, and he claimed he cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein in 2005, yet in these files we can clearly see he was emailing Epstein in 2012, planning a trip out there, saying, "Hi Jeff, we are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart on Monday at some point. Where are you located? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? I have another couple, Michael and Mary Lehrman, with me on my boat, and each of us has 4 children. 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, a 12, an 11, and a 7-year-old. Thanks, Howard." What a disgusting freak. He's even listing out the ages of the children that are joining them on their planned trip to Epstein's Island. This is in 2012. That's quite a few years after 2005, Howard. Seems like you told a big-time fib. Howard said that he had visited Epstein's house in 2005, but it culminated with him getting the heebie-jeebies. He called him gross and said that was basically kaput. That was the end of his relationship with Epstein. He washed his hands of him back in 2005, but that clearly wasn't true now, was it, Howard? These emails are from 2012, planning a trip out there and making a very odd mention of a bunch of children and their ages that will be joining you to Epstein's Island. Howard Lutnick is your U.S. Secretary of Commerce under Trump right now. This is your Commerce Secretary. And he is one of many very powerful politicians whom you'll find in these new Epstein files and previous Epstein files as well. These are just a few of many names, new names as well, very powerful people who appear in these files with alleged horrible, horrible things that they have done in connection with Jeffrey Epstein and the island. It is a big, big deal. This is undoubtedly just the tip of the iceberg here. This latest batch was millions of files, so there is still a lot of information out there that hasn't been adequately combed through, and still what we are learning right now is heinous. And I feel like it should be pretty obvious that there needs to be investigations conducted here and maybe a little bit of fucking justice. Maybe some of these evil fucking demons getting arrested, perhaps. Why are none of these people in these Epstein files even being looked into at all? Why does Kash Patel lie under oath about there not being an Epstein list or clients or like co-conspirators when we now have all this available evidence that confirms there definitely were co-conspirators, there definitely are clients, and there is nothing being done, not in this administration, not the previous administration, to hold any of them accountable or find them. This is a huge deal that nobody should be trying to like minimize the importance of. For some reason, people are trying to pretend as though this is something we should just like brush aside, move on from the whole Epstein fiasco. That is craziness. There are people in the most powerful positions of government right now that are rapists and pedophiles that have got away with unthinkable crimes, and they need to be held accountable. We have so much information here. We have so many names, and we need them to be investigated. We need justice. I don't know why so many people are so okay with being governed by these monsters. It's baffling to me. It actually boggles my fucking mind. This latest batch shows even more evidence, shines even more light on these terrible, terrible things that unfolded here, and the close connections a lot of powerful people had to Epstein and the island. I'll continue to look into the files and see what else turns up from all of this. I'll be, of course, keeping my finger on the pulse of it, and I highly encourage all of you to be paying very close attention to it and the people named in these Epstein files, and the people that try and defend it as well. That is unacceptable. This is indefensible. There's no excuse for it. So anyway, wanted to just give you an update here. That's really about it. So yeah. Almost 2 weeks ago now, I made a video giving you an update to a story I covered a few years ago about an Australian YouTuber named Friendly Jordies whose house was firebombed by some villains, by some really unsavory bad guys. Not only was his house firebombed, his neighbor's was too, because the assassin got confused on which one belonged to the YouTuber, so he firebombed both of them, which could have piled up multiple charred corpses here. It was an attempt on Jordy's life, really. And recently, Friendly Jordies announced that one of the people responsible for this firebombing had been arrested and is going to jail. And let me tell you something. The Australian justice system, the legal department over there was working overtime. They were cooking. They did not pull any punches. They threw the book at this guy. They came baring their fucking fists and sentenced him to like a summer camp in jail, basically. So this bad guy is going to have a long, hard think about what he's done for the 45 minutes he spends in the slammer. He got 5 years in jail. And from what I've read, he's not actually spending 5 years in jail. Some of it is already taken off of it. So for trying to kill someone, could have been multiple people from 2 separate firebombing instances, both aimed at Friendly Jordies here, a YouTuber. He's getting the tiniest slap on the wrist, almost like a slap on the ass. It almost is kind of like an encouragement because they're not taking it seriously. They're doing less than the bare minimum. And today, Friendly Jordies just posted another video going even deeper on this situation, and it is fucking terrifying. This almost sounds like the government giving their stamp of approval to just go after Jordies because they're just not going to do shit about it. Their inaction is almost them just enabling more bad guys like this to try and kill Friendly Jordies. It is horrifying. So I really want to yap about this some more because it is just in broad daylight here. This corruption is not even slightly trying to be hidden in the shadows or anything.
As such, today I feel like I've been left with no choice but to again address the firebombing, as I've waited 3 years for the police to do something. And during these 3 years, I've not only watched them pass by on numerous chances to solve this mystery, but also somehow, for some mysterious reason, downright actually reject good leads that I've been aware of. No follow-up or interest. It's been a joke. In my estimation, seen a single journalist publicly uncover more about the firebombing than the entire force combined.
Jordies is clearly and rightfully angry here at the lack of results here from a 3-year investigation with a lot of question marks for how things have been handled and how seemingly weak it has all been. It seems from all available information here that the New South Wales Police Department was more concerned with figuring out how many fingers they could fit into their butts at the office than actually getting to the bottom of this investigation. They did like the tiniest crumb of work by arresting one person in regards to the firebombing, whom the judge also said was the hired muscle. He was hired to do this. It was a planned attack, yet they never even bothered to investigate who might have hired this guy. You know, the natural evolution, the natural next step of an investigation. You found the hired muscle. Now, come on, let's use our thinking caps here. What comes next? Who hired the muscle? That's where it should go, but never has. And Jordy's is talking about how this investigation has just been a joke for the last 3 years here. And he is highlighting a journalist that has done significantly more investigation than the New South Wales police force has in 3 years, seemingly.
As you probably know, in 2022, my house was firebombed because of a video I made. A video which I was forced to take down a year after the firebombing, after threats on my life and the lives of others were attempted to be passed on to me via a former Mongols bikie sergeant-at-arms gangster turned Four Corners journalist, Mahmoud Fazal. Yes, Four Corners. Ostensibly the most prestigious investigative journalism institution in Australia, the esteemed flagship, no less, of our dear public broadcaster, the ABC. Allow me to reiterate, as that is really hard to capture just how damning this is. A Four Corners journalist was meeting with heavy organised crime figures, then sending through demands purportedly on behalf of those figures, threatening that if I failed to remove my investigation into these figures, myself and people around me would die.
This should be alarming to literally anybody. Like, if you are sentient, like if you have self-awareness, you know, you can look at yourself in the mirror and recognize, oh, that's me, then this should immediately start raising for some red flags. Anybody should hear this and then just start to wonder, how is this even fucking possible? So apparently a journalist at a very reputable organization had been apparently meeting with some crime families and passing along threats that if Jordy's didn't take down his video investigation into them, where he dipped his toes into that topic, then he and others' lives were in jeopardy. Holy shit.
This story was exposed by Kate McClymont in the Sydney Morning Herald over a year ago. Though I never spoke about it in depth, you can read it if you want more context. It's brilliant work. But the important takeaway is this. When faced with an abundance of new evidence relating to the firebombing, the evidence that was more than enough at the very least to charge a few people, what did the New South Wales police do? As far as I'm aware, nothing. Nothing substantive, at least. I tried to question the Four Corners journalist who passed on these threats, but according to New South Wales police, he refused to provide a statement. Shouldn't that ring a few alarm bells? Shouldn't that open up further avenues of inquiry when conveying threats in of itself can be an offence? Apparently not. This is every criminal's dream treatment. Burn down a house, threaten to kill people, have it reported to police, and then the police do nothing.
A recipe for disaster, a nightmare concoction for normal people, but a dream scenario for criminals here. This guy gets to pass on all of these threatening messages, allegedly, and then, instead of having any investigation into that or his connection, he just gets to say, I don't want to talk about it. And that's where it ends. That's very interesting, because as Jordy's mentioned, even conveying threats like this in and of itself is kind of a crime. Or at the very least should warrant someone to poke around and be like, well, where's this coming from? You know, what's up with these threats on people's lives, you know? But that didn't happen. And he doesn't have to explain himself. He can just say, nah, nuh-uh, not feeling like it. And that's just where it stops. Wow.
And then what did the national broadcaster do when faced with the fact that their reporter was telling people that he was going to meetings with gangland murderers in order to find out what death threats and messages to pass on to? Did nothing. Well, they didn't do nothing. Do you want to know what they actually did? They defended Mahmoud Fazal. They defended this man with his self-advertised gangster history and this proof against him, who slanderously claimed that Kate McClymont's article on the threats that he passed on were based on, how's this, ethnic stereotyping. And the self-proclaimed greatest, most hard-nosed investigative journalist in the country believed him.
Jordy's briefly explained that the reason he hadn't dove into this deeper over the last 3 years is because the authorities were conveying to him that it would be best if he didn't, because it might hamper their investigation. So he kept his mouth shut and let them not do their job, basically. Or rather, not do the job they're supposed to be doing in protecting citizens. They're doing a great job in protecting criminals with this case here, just letting them totally have free reign here without them doing a whole lot on the investigation side of things, seemingly. That's how it certainly appears. What he's talking about here is that journalist who was conveying these threats. Well, after that bombshell of an article came out, the broadcaster defended him, and his defense was basically, no, this is stereotyping. Doesn't get into the weeds of it or anything, just goes, stereotyping. This is all racism. She should be ashamed of herself. Yeah, this is racist. It's just racist, these claims. Yeah, no, it's all stereotypes. I guess that's all he had to say. That was checkmate right there.
I can assure you that absolutely nothing in Kate McClymont's article is incorrect, and considering McClymont's track record, it would take a very creative, brave, or perhaps just in way too deep ABC management type to chuck an Eddie bead and dismiss serious allegations as simply racist stereotyping. But it looks like that's what happened. The ABC were even offered multiple times hard documentary evidence to back up McClymont's claims, should they want to investigate these serious allegations, evidence that they refused to even look at. In light of, I have to stress, grave allegations, death threats from one of their reporters.
That was just a watertight defense right there. They altered. They said it's racist. We're not looking at it. All that information, all of that overwhelming evidence that you were trying to put across our desk? Nope. It's apparently racist. It's so fucking absurd. It's actually preposterous. It would literally be laughable if people's lives weren't at stake here.
He was in the news over a lover's quarrel with his now former podcast host, independent reporter Ryan Nemenko, a man with a similar story to Fazal, as he describes himself as part journalist, part outlaw. Nemenko claims that when it came to payment, Fazal and a man who had been the subject of Fazal's Four Corners stories in the past, former cocaine dealer Ben Aitken, demanded cash from Nemenko immediately. Why is this interesting? Check the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald. Nemenko has provided what he claims are further texts between himself and Fazal, in which Fazal says, quote, "F Geordies and his people, they're dogs, I want to kill him so bad." Yeah.
I highly recommend you watch Jordy's full video going over this, but to sum it up here, put it in a nutshell, the journalist whom we were just talking about went into business with another part-time journalist, part-time outlaw, Nemenko, and the relationship soured for a variety of reasons, like the payment thing mentioned there. And through this, it was revealed in messages which allegedly could have been fabricated based on some of the headlines you'll see floating around. But the messages allegedly show this journalist, whom, keep in mind, has some close ties here to some very unsavory characters, supposedly, outright saying, "Fuck Geordies and his people, they're dogs, I want to kill him so bad." That's very scary, given his supposedly close ties to the criminal underworld.
The man who I know for a fact said he was meeting with organised crime figures in order to ascertain what message to send to me from them. The man who ABC and police failed to investigate is now reported to have said he wants to kill me. So bad. There's more in these text chains, which is just as damning. But before I get into them, I want to note that as reported by Kate McClymont, Fazal has claimed that one of the text messages is fabricated and the others nearly taken out of context. Having seen the original chains, it's very difficult to see how these could possibly even be taken out of context. Plus, even if just some of these texts are real, as Fazal himself has now implied, that's enough of an indictment on Fazal and the ABC in of itself.
Another classic move here, reaching deep into his asshole, into the old bag of tricks. It's out of context. Oh, it's fake. AI. It's a deep fake. No, that's not my penis. It couldn't be. My penis is fucking 14 inches long. Well, soft. No, this is all a lie. This can't be. It's out of context. And, you know, I can't say with 100% confidence what is and is not authentic there. I haven't seen the messages myself, and I haven't seen the full context, but as Jordy's mentions, it's hard to imagine how context could, save some of those messages from not being as scary as they are. And also, he does imply that some of them are real, not fabricated or anything. And as Jordy's mentions, any of those being real is probably enough of an indictment here, you would think. At least maybe enough to warrant, poking around a bit to see, what the fuck is going on. Now, Jordy's does go over one of the text chains here. Again, doesn't really seem like it's missing a whole lot of context, and something Jordy's also mentions, in order to fabricate something like this, it would take quite a bit. Now, Jordy's had released a video 3 weeks ago about the firebombing situation update, where that one arrest had been made, and Jordy's was going on about how it's very weird how some of these journalists, these ABC-affiliated journalists, have such deep access to these bad guys.
In response, Nemenko has claimed that he and Fazal had this exchange. Ryan Nemenko, we all sweet to do Ep 2, or has that issue with Shanks rattled ya? Geordie's and his people, they're dogs. I want to kill him so bad. Ryan Nemenko, are you f***ing serious? Over something you didn't do? Leave it. It's not your place. Mahmoud Fazal, bro, Alameddin still want to hit me. I need to make up to him with this pod and we will kill it. Better him than me, but f*** him. We should do a pod on that and get my story out. Just leave it. I'm not willing to speak about it because let's be real, you sent the f***ing threats. They f***ed you. Mahmoud Fazal. Nah, he has to get what he gets. He's a dog. Ratted me to Jax. Jax means police.
Well, that's not very good now, is it? Pardon my French, but this Fazal guy sounds like a real jerk. I know, I didn't mean to be so rude and nasty about it, but I mean, this is scary shit. I guess I'll give anybody the heebie-jeebies here. Because it's worth remembering that Fazal isn't just, a lone wolf kind of guy. He's not like a random journalist that has no ties to anyone or anything. This is a guy that's being defended by a major broadcasting network with some very seemingly close ties to a notable crime family. It's holding a lot of weight here. It's pretty terrifying stuff. But I think it's important we hear Fazal's side of things, because he has released an email here where he's calling into question the reliability of Nemenko as a source here for these claims.
Stating in an email to the Sydney Morning Herald, Ryan Nemenko has a criminal history, a history of harassment, and a documented record of dishonesty. As a journalist, you should know that background is material when assessing his reliability and motives as your source. How does he not see how hypocritical that is? Mahmoud, didn't you claim McClymont was relying on your background to stereotype you when she relied entirely on hard evidence for her claims? Now you're relying solely on Nemenko's background to refute text chains, some of which you yourself have tacitly admitted were real, just out of context. Again, how? What's the context in which any of this is okay? Please enlighten us. Plus, you have provided no hard evidence to the contrary, just Nemenko's background.
Whoa, pump the brakes, hold your horses, no hard evidence. Fazal provided the hardest evidence there is. He provided evidence harder than fucking tungsten. His word. And his word means everything. Didn't you read in the email where Fazal said that you can't trust Nemenko, and if Fazal doesn't trust him, then how am I supposed to trust him? Fazal has never given me any reason not to believe him at his word. Well, of course, other than that very clear, despicable hypocrisy that Jordy's pointed out, where when Fazal himself was faced with some very strong allegations with very strong evidence from a journalist, he claimed that it was all ethnic stereotyping, all about his background, so we have to just disregard it because it must be racist and nothing else. But now in this case, he wants to rely solely on Nemenko's background here, so that way we can write off all of those pesky text chains that are coming to light here. Text chains, by the way, that he himself has literally implied are authentic, and is trying to use the defense, the song and dance of, it's out of context. Would love to see this fabled context that Fazal speaks of here. Because I gotta tell you, sports fans, I can't quite think of anything that would make any of these text messages acceptable. All of this seems very highly illegal and extremely horrifying for Friendly Jordy's here and his safety. Him saying, no, some of it's fabricated, but then also it's out of context. There's clearly a clash there in those two statements. So, some of it's fake, but then some of it's real and out of context? I don't know, something's just not really adding up here. It's quite fishy.
Furthermore, if Nemenko is a liar, if he has, in your words, a criminal history, a history of harassment, and a documented record of dishonesty, why start a business with him? Why start a journalistic endeavour with him, where the sole purpose should be to expose the truth? But I guess if those character traits are good enough for the ABC, they're good enough for Fazal.
That part made me laugh. That's a really good point. Here's Fazal coming out saying, we can't fucking trust this guy. This guy isn't all horseradish. This guy's just a fucking baloney salesman. And then, if you stop for a second, the question would naturally pop in your head, well, if you feel that way about him, why the fuck did you go into business with him? Why would you go in a journalistic endeavor with this guy whom you're coming out and shitting on like the entire history of and everything that he ever has done and will ever do? Why would you be in business with him in that case? I don't know, Fazal. It definitely is very strange, isn't it? Quite peculiar.
Seriously, this really needs to be emphasised because this is so damning, and not just for Zal, but the entire ABC as an institution. What is a Four Corners journalist doing, passing on threats to other journalists and demanding cash from this person? And why did it take until now for the ABC to even acknowledge that that might be a problem?
That's a great question. I'd love to hear more from the ABC about that. That is very interesting. Why is that the case? Huh. Some real big food for thought, isn't it? Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop playing clips from it here, but I do, like I said, highly recommend you watch the full thing, especially the ending. It is beautifully said by Jordy's at the end of this video. There is so much wrong here with this whole case. So many questions left unanswered, so many problems still present that are seemingly just being brushed to the side here from authorities. Something needs to change. Jordy's is in a legitimately very difficult situation where his life does appear to be in jeopardy from these horrible, scary people, and nothing seems to be being done about it. It doesn't seem like there's any real action from the New South Wales Police Department here. It doesn't seem as though anything is actually being thoroughly investigated to try and protect Jordy's or his team in their reporting and their coverage over actual crime. That's an issue. That's a really big deal. And I'm really hoping for the safety of Jordy's and his whole team. They, like I've said for years, they do great fucking work. And the way that they are treated there by the powers that be is deplorable, downright evil. Anyway, though, like I said, I just wanted to blabber about this a bit. Please watch Jordy's full video on it. That's really about it. So yeah. Right now, I want you to try and imagine the worst thing you can think of. Genuinely like the most horrific, traumatizing sight that you can picture. I want you to briefly do it. Not for too long, but I just want you to plant it, burn it into your brain for a moment. Now let me guess what you just pictured. Was it a bear opening your car door and destroying the interior of your Rolls Royce? Yeah, I thought so. Luckily, in this case, it was just a thought experiment, but what if I told you this actually happened? And then what if I told you it didn't actually happen and the claims were all part of an elaborate insurance scam? I say elaborate, but that's definitely not the word to use for it. Almost 2 years ago now, I covered a story about some fucking goobers, some true goofballs who hatched this scheme where they had one of their friends dress up in a bear suit to go into their luxury cars like a Rolls Royce and then take kitchen utensils and start scratching in the car as if a bear was the one destroying it. Even though it never even like ruined the interior, it just left like little marks like a kid with a fork like dragged it across the seats a little bit. And then they would go to their insurance claiming that a bear broke into their car and get an insurance payout for it, and it actually worked 3 times. But they were eventually caught when they took a closer look at the footage that was submitted. It is fucking incredible how awful it looks. It's like if I had my buddy Eric dress up as a bear for like a child's birthday party or something, and they just have this guy go into their car and just do this a little bit. It was so interesting, and somehow it took this long for them to get sentenced. I won't spoil the surprise there, but I bet they are not happy and are very much regretting this this plan here, this dubious plot. Now, I want to be clear, it's not that it's unbelievable a bear would break into a car. In fact, there's a lot of footage of that happening, which is probably why they chose this in the first place instead of having it be like the fucking chupacabra.
We got some brisket if you want.
Oh my.
He's
just opened that door. Oh my god.
Psst, get out of there.
Oh my god.
No. Hey.
Oh my god, I got it.
You won't be laughing when that dirty bastard hotwires that car and pit maneuvers your ass to try and confiscate the footage to hide the evidence. It is impressive, actually. To me, that's no laughing matter. That's fucking terrifying. If we got to worry about bears opening the car doors, breaking in, and stealing our loot or something, you know what I mean? So and it's more than just this. This isn't the only guy that can do it there. Bears are impressive. Somehow they've been training. They've learned how to do this for a lot of cars. I forgot to turn off the face cam for this one, so you can see me nodding in approval here, impressed by the bear's ability to get into this vehicle, and they eventually steal something out of the back seat. It was like a bag of diapers or something, I'm not really sure. But the point is, I know bears can open car doors, but what you'll see in this insurance scam doesn't look like that at all. It looks like just a dude going up, opening it, and then crawling around. It's incredible stuff. But yes, also side note, be aware, sleep in fear knowing that if you're transporting honey from the grocery store, you are not safe. At any moment, a bear could fucking scoot in sideways, open that car door, and rob you. Because they have learned how to open these car doors. That much is confirmed. You saw the California bear suit scammers finally got sentenced? Did they? I remember talking about that a while ago. I feel like it's been like 3 years. They only just now got sentenced. They were the ones committing insurance fraud. Because they were claiming like a bear went in there and fucked it all up, but then they got caught on camera and it's clearly just a guy in a bear suit. And yeah, you're right. It looks like it only just now went through. Humans who used bear suit to defraud car insurers are sentenced to jail. Oh no! And they took the high quality bear suit! What? California Department of Fish and Wildlife biologists reviewed video footage of the attacks on luxury cars and said that the animal was clearly a human in a bear suit. I like how they had to bring out like the certified expert, but anyone with eyes could tell you the same thing. Hold on, let me pull up the footage. It has been a while, so maybe you guys forgot about this. This shit goes crazy, actually, though. It was a very interesting scheme, to be honest with you. Get ready to cover your eyes. It's horrifying. That's a bear in there. Watch out! It's ruining the luxury vehicle. I think that's a Phantom, it looks like. I can't really tell. I don't know cars well enough, but that looks like a Phantom. Oh, he's in the back seat. Oh, God, no. He's ruining it. What's he doing, that degenerate? Oh, the bear's gooning in there. No! He just bought that car, too. Wow. That's brutal stuff, man. Damn, look at the damage that he was able to cause. Fuck. Oh, there he is again. That fucking maniac. That bear got a taste of luxury cars and now he can't stop. Yep, right to the back seat again. Mm-hmm. Now he's getting in there causing all kinds of commotion. A huge ruckus. Oh, wow! He totaled it. Oh, no. He's back again! Oh, look at the way he opens that door. He's so smart. Who taught him to do that? Apparently they're going to jail for this, by the way. Imagine going to jail because of this fucking scam. Absolute losers. Holy. They forgot to draw a sea bear circle around the cars. True. I truly cannot believe the horror there. So what did they rule? They were sentenced to jail after masterminding a scheme in which they staged fake bear attacks on luxury cars and collected more than $141K in insurance payouts. Isn't it sad that it actually worked? They actually got paid for that. Someone watched that footage, fucking mouth agape. Oh! Wow, alright. We're approving this, my god. We're sorry this happened. To carry out the attacks, the residents had a person in a bear suit climb into the cars and use claw-like kitchen utensils to leave scratch marks. The residents filed claims to defraud three different insurance companies. Two defendants, Ruben Tamrazian, 26, and Vahi Muradkian, 32, of Glendale, were sentenced to 180 days in jail, or about 6 months, and ordered to pay more than $50K each in restitution. Another defendant, Alifa Zuckerman, 39, was sentenced to 180 days in jail, while a restitution amount is yet to be determined. All three had previously pled no contest to felony insurance fraud. Oh, there's a fourth one. Ararat Chirkinian, 39, of Glendale, has a preliminary court hearing scheduled for September. Not immediately clear if they had lawyers. Oh, maybe they represented themselves. Or maybe they brought someone in a bear suit to defend them. Pretty cool. Hey, boo-boo, what do you think we're gonna find in this Rolls Royce? 180 days in jail. Good thing they brought in the biologist. They would have got away with it, too. You see the Lakers beat the Rockets last night without Luka or Reeves. I didn't watch the game because I figured it'd be a blowout. So when I saw that headline, that was more unbelievable to me than this fucking bear insurance fraud. I cannot believe they actually squeaked out a series win. I see no world where they actually win the series, but even getting one game there blew my mind. Oh no, they're also paying restitution, so it's 180 days in jail and restitution. So it's not like they're coming out in the green here. It certainly wasn't worth it, I'll tell you that much. There's been a lot going on in regards to the Epstein files and been a bunch of emails that have come out. It's been kind of a smorgasbord of new information, surprisingly. And there's even apparently going to be a full release of the Epstein files. It's been voted on, it's passed, but I'll believe it when I see it. I've talked about this on stream. I am fully expecting this to be the same shit, different toilet, repackaging the same material that's been released from the Epstein files 5 times now. I swear to God, these Epstein files have been remastered more times than Last of Us. They keep re-releasing the same information over and over again with a different coat of paint. They're not actually releasing new Epstein files, but they keep pretending that they are, or that what they drop is new Epstein file information. But when you actually look at it, it's the same thing that was released years ago. That's what I'm expecting here, but I would love to be proven wrong. I would love if this is finally some real, unredacted, new information that implicates some horrible, evil people, and real punishment comes their way. Actual justice for the victims. We'll see. I have my skepticism about that. But another thing that's happened in regards to everything Epstein related is those emails that the committee has released. And there's a lot of mysteries there, of course, the biggest being who is Bubba and what cock was in Trump's mouth potentially. And along with that, there are a lot of other people that have now been thrust into the spotlight here for their close association with Epstein, one of them being a goober named Larry Summers. Now, maybe I'm just a Neanderthal who's living under a rock, but I'd never heard of Lawrence Summers until this. But just look at the political power he's had for so many decades now. He was the 8th director of the National Economic Council under Barack Obama's presidency. He was the president of Harvard from 01 to 06. He was also the United States Secretary of Treasury under Clinton. This is a very powerful guy. And when these emails came out, people were quick to notice Lawrence Summers was very chummy with Jeffrey Epstein, even going as far as to have Epstein as his fucking wingman. He was trying to suck farts out of Jeffrey Epstein's ass looking for tiddlywinks of advice on how he could fuck one of his students, a mentee, as he referred to her as. It is so creepy. It is vile, disgusting shit. Larry Summers has been married since 2005. These texts and emails were from 2018 to 2019, him trying to get Jeffrey Epstein's input on how he can have sex with this student of his. And it's just this series of whiny messages from him, this pathetic loser-ass shit that you'd probably find in like the foulest corners of Reddit. And Larry, no carry about his marriage, Summers, is begging on his hands and knees for Jeffrey Epstein to bless him with the guidance so he could have sex with this mentee of his. It is so fucking gross. And these are just what is now publicly available in their messages exchanged. Like, it is probably a lot deeper than this connection between Larry Summers and Jeffrey Epstein. This is just what they have, like, physical evidence of with these messages. I have no doubt Larry Summers being this close, where Jeffrey Epstein will refer to himself as Larry's wingman, I have no doubt these two have probably been in cahoots for a long fucking time. It is scary. Now, I also saw a clip here that someone recorded in their class at Harvard where Larry teaches, and he actually addressed what students were seeing from all of the Epstein information. This was after he made his statement of regret about his connection, calling it like a major error in judgment to communicate with Jeffrey Epstein, the most infamous pedophile in our fucking history. And he had a little bit to say about all of this, hoopla going on.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activity for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. And so, with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class.
No, Larry, you don't have my permission to continue teaching. How about instead of going over the material, you go over to the nearest prison and throw yourself in one of the fucking cells? Because it feels like the justice system's never going to do that for anyone that's closely associated with Jeffrey Epstein and all of his fucking crimes. So why don't you take it upon yourself to do that for us? Now, this video's like a day and a half old. There was an update to this story last night. He is not going to be finishing his teaching obligations at Harvard. They're investigating his ties to child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, and they have made the correct decision to remove him from his position teaching here, which to me sounds like a no-brainer. One of the things in the emails that was revealed is Larry Summers trying to fuck his mentee, one of his students that he was mentoring. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to keep him in that position. That's like keeping the big bad wolf in a classroom with a bunch of little piggies there. So that was the right call, taking him off of that position during this investigation. And I feel like it's probably a pretty easy investigation when there's already a ton of evidence to his close ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The question that remains is, how close are those ties? Did he visit the island? It seems like he was very buddy-buddy with Jeffrey Epstein. I cannot imagine that these 2018 and 2019 exchanges are like the only things that they ever talked about. If I was a betting man, I would make a strong wager that this communication is not the first time they've been closely talking. I don't think Jeffrey Epstein would jokingly call himself Summers' wingman based off of only a few text messages over the course of that year. I would wager that they have been very close for a long time, and I imagine Larry Summers is implicated very deeply in a lot of the Epstein files that we just haven't seen all of yet. And it seems like that hunch is corroborated by a lot of outlets reporting that his correspondence with Epstein had extended for over a decade after Epstein had already been sent to jail for soliciting a minor for prostitution. So it's not like Larry Summers wouldn't know this about Jeffrey Epstein. He was talking to him all the way up until like the day before he got arrested in 2019. There's no way Larry didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was and what was going on there. I just don't believe that. He can call it like an error in judgment all he wants, but he literally had already been arrested for soliciting a minor for prostitution, and that is the guy that Larry Summers was going to frequently for advice on trying to fuck one of his students. I feel like there is no world where Larry Summers wasn't closely tied to Jeffrey Epstein for a long time and wasn't privy to what was going on behind the scenes with Epstein's operation and all of that shit going on there. Now, going back to that video briefly, I find it baffling that Harvard didn't immediately relieve him of his position after the information came out, like while they were about to conduct an investigation. I don't know why he was allowed to go into the classroom and give his statement, like his POV on everything here, and it seems like was even going to continue teaching in some capacity to this classroom. He went in there with, his PR speech like, hey guys, listen, look, you may have read some not so good yucky things about me and Mr. Epstein. I know, not a great look, but we have to remember your minds are hungry and I'm the chef. It's my duty to teach you, so we're here. Get your pen and paper out. Let's go, Poindexters. I have a teaching obligation to fulfill and I plan on doing that. Also, unrelated to everything, I have slots available for mentorship if anyone wants to be mentored by me, to see me after class. Anyway, though, it's time to get back to the teaching. Like, it's so weird to me. Like, I understand they need to investigate the claims, but while doing so, he shouldn't have been allowed back in the classroom in the first place to teach, or say that he is going to be able to continue teaching. Like, addressing the elephant in the room is somehow enough, and now all of a sudden he's allowed to be able to still give lectures. Who the fuck is going to want to sit there and listen to this guy who is apparently close friends with Jeffrey Epstein? Like, I'm surprised everyone didn't immediately just get out of their seats and walk out of the class. Maybe they did. It's a very short video. It's entirely possible they did. I just find it odd, is all. Anyway, just wanted to yap a bit about Larry Summers for a bit, and that's really about it. So, yep. It's finally happening. David has been arrested and is being held without bail. It's been 7 months since a child's body was found decomposing in the trunk of his towed vehicle, and now authorities have arrested him as the main suspect in her murder. Her name was Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She went missing in 2024, and her body was found in 2025. She was 14 at the time of her death, according to authorities, and according to everyone's eyeballs, was in a relationship with David. There is a plethora of evidence about these two being in a relationship together, which is something even the most avid and ferocious of David defenders, when they pick up their shield, just kind of brush over. The fact that an adult was in a romantic relationship with a 13-year-old. I've seen them use excuses of, oh, he was homeschooled, so he couldn't have known that that was bad. What the fuck? It's just actual craziness. And I started talking about this when the story was breaking, and I got a lot of pushback. There were a lot of people, going ballistic about how wrong this whole thing was, and that I'm a fucking gullible idiot for thinking David was the one that did this. Just this large vocal group of deluded fans that were trying to, brainwash people into thinking that it was all a lie, so they were cooking up these elaborate, unhinged theories on what actually happened and how David is innocent and is even a victim in all of this. Oh, fucking 5G towers were blasting waves that signaled the cartel to come perform a hit on this child and then put her body in the trunk of David's vehicle to frame him for her murder. It was bouncing all over the place. I can't even remember everything that they were spewing, but it was all just complete gobbledygook, just complete babble nonsense that anyone who even bothered to look at any of the evidence could easily point to and say, no, you're wrong, just look at this. But they would refuse to look at the reality of it. The evidence, even at the time, was pretty damning. He was even leaving fucking breadcrumbs in his music about this. And he wasn't exactly shy about broadcasting his relationship with this child. So even if he was innocent of the murder, he was very clearly dating a minor. It was just crazy to see so many people were defending him, and I imagine are still actively defending him, even in the face of this arrest, because he hasn't been formally charged for anything at the moment, and I imagine that's what they're latching onto like a baby to its mother's bosom. And at the time, one of the big things that they were using as a defense for David was the fact that he wasn't arrested yet. Well, if he's guilty, why didn't the police break through his fucking windows the second that the body was found, huh? He must be innocent, then. The authorities know more than we do. He's clearly innocent, and we gotta find the real perpetrator. Completely oblivious to the fact that that's not how the world works. Not everything is a goddamn action movie. They had to also build a case as well. And yes, this did take a lot longer than I and most people would have expected. given how abundant the evidence is against David. But I imagine that this is pretty standard procedure for them to gather tons of evidence to build an ironclad case, and now they are confident enough that they've moved to the next phase, which is arresting him. Now, additional details around this arrest confirm that the arrest is not related to the grand jury that they were going through over the last handful of months where they were seeking an indictment there. This is totally separate based upon evidence that they have been gathering over these months here. This must be a long process, I suppose, but it doesn't seem like they were just sitting AFK waiting for the case to solve itself or David to turn himself in or anything like that. It's just a process that I guess took this long.
All right, and so a lot of people wondering, you know, so many things seem to point to him. Why did it take them this long to make the arrest? We know they're pretty methodical about how they do things, but
yeah, it's a good question. One of the things that they were waiting on, Mark, was the cause of death, and there was difficulty reaching that cause of death. Not to get too graphic, but her body was in multiple parts. It was in, we know from court documents, 2 different body bags in the front trunk of that Tesla when her body was found. So it was difficult for the medical examiner to determine the cause of death. So they had to prove or be able to show to the DA that she was murdered, that it wasn't something else where, you know, let's say that she overdosed and then somebody freaked out and put her body in that trunk. They have to be able to prove that it was murder. They now believe that they can do that.
This part got a big old and a scratch on my chinny chin chin for me, because what do you mean this could have been like, you know, an accident, like she overdosed and somebody freaked out? So then they chopped up her body and stored it in the trunk of a car. Who freaks out like that? Like, oh no, this accident just happened, quick! Give me my fucking bone saw. I've got to start chopping up this body, mutilating it, and then hiding it in the trunk of this vehicle. This accident that just unfolded. Oh, I don't know what else to do. Biting at my nails. All right, now give me the hydrofluoric acid so I can dissolve all the body and hide the evidence. Like, is that something plausible? Because to me, it's not. If that is what happened, they're psychopaths, and that is also a crime too, by the way, to do that. So like, I understand how important it is to find the cause of death. That makes a lot of sense to me. But what else could it be besides murder? This is a gruesome, disgusting, grisly crime here. I don't see any dimension out there where this is action that a sane, innocent person would take, where an individual accidentally passes away, and then the innocent person who had nothing to do with the death all of a sudden starts chopping up the body, putting it in multiple body bags, and putting it in the trunk of their vehicle, and just letting it rot, decompose, and fester there. Like, what sense does that make at all? Even if David wasn't the one that chopped her body up, someone else did it, and apparently there's this possibility that they had nothing to do with her actual death. They just mutilated the corpse, which again is a crime too. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think she accidentally died of something like an overdose, and then they all of a sudden just started, you know, panicking like, oh, jump scare, she's dead. Okay, this is what we've got to do, boys. Everyone, let's go to Lowe's and get some equipment to start chopping up the body, because that's what normal people would do in this situation. We're scared. I was homeschooled, by the way, so I don't know any better. I'm scared. Let's start chopping up this body now and hiding it. We had nothing to do with her death, by the way. Like, that's so fucked up. Like, again, I understand how important it is to find the actual cause of death and how tricky it is in a case like this because of how long the body had been in the trunk decaying, as well as being in multiple pieces in multiple bags. Like, I get why that would be tough to discern what actually killed her, but I don't know how you could even reach any other conclusion other than murder. I truly don't. I don't even know why that would be on the table. That one kind of boggles my little noodle here.
But during the grand jury proceedings, which are secret as they're ongoing, that there were a number of other people who came forward, those who are close to David, friends of David, family members of his were subpoenaed to go in front of the grand jury. So if there are other arrests that could be coming, we don't know. But as of right now, he is the only one that we know of under arrest.
Now, apparently there were some of David's friends that allegedly started squealing, like snitching about it to a certain degree. There's also someone a lot of people have had their eyes on in David's entourage. His name is Neo. That's what everyone calls him. And it's someone that Law and Crime mentioned during their coverage of this as well. But as of right now, it's just David under arrest, but I guess there could be more if some of his friends knew and tried to help him cover it up, or just didn't report it, tried to stay, tight-lipped about it. So I guess we'll see how it all unfolds. Right now, it's just him. Overall, just an extremely sad and sick case. Hopefully there will be justice for Celeste Rivas here. And even if somehow David isn't the one who actually murdered her, it is irrefutable that he was in a relationship with a child. So he should also be going to jail for that. And I find it hard to believe that if he is innocent of the murder, he didn't know that the child he was dating was dead and her corpse was chopped up and put in the back of his vehicle's trunk. I am certain he would have had that knowledge. So again, even if he didn't actually kill her, he is not innocent. He is not some, victim in all of this. He is an evil monster, and I do believe he is the one that killed her. I think all of the evidence points to him being the person that most likely did it. But I guess we'll see now that he's been arrested. I'm assuming this will now start to reveal more and more information to the public about all of this. So anyway, that's really about it. See ya. Kevin O'Leary has quickly become one of my least favorite people on this planet. He is unfathomably cringe, and yet he is still extremely vocal and can't stop chirping about his 40,000 acre data center in Utah. He's doing this nationwide humiliation ritual where he's going on every platform imaginable, just be clowning himself publicly. He is an embarrassing specimen. He is a disgusting fungus worm man who can't help but yap and squeal about garbage that he is just truly clueless on. He is actually an observably dumb person. And he continues to try and LARP as an American, despite not even being a U.S. citizen. He is Canadian. He has not even bothered to become a U.S. citizen. Yet he's willing to go around preaching about American values and trying to, dictate how policy should be, singing the blues about, oh, this is so bad now. People don't support my 40,000 acre data center in Utah. Those aren't real Americans. Those aren't real patriots. Those are Chinese spies. When he himself is not a fucking American. He is a fraud. This guy is a actual miasma of cringe, filth, and greed. And also, he is a billionaire. Why hasn't he just done the $1 million enema infusion into Trump's butthole to get that nice golden toilet paper to be just a citizen through money? He hasn't even bothered to do that. Genuinely, I can't fucking stand this guy. He is just trying to pillage and loot this country through his projects, most notably his 40,000 acre data center that's being brute forced through in Utah. And he just recently went on a couple of platforms and continued to make a fool of himself, so I'm going to shoot spitballs at him now for that. This guy is just more fake than Kristi Noem's husband's tits. This guy, there's not a single genuine real thing about him.
Elevate Strategies, also a cell operating inside of Utah. Gabby Finlayson. Gabby, what are you doing? And who's paying you?
Well, hi, hello. It's me, Gabby Finlayson.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, who would want us to stop building our electrical grid? Which adversary would want that? There's only one. It's China. So what I think is happening, and I got my guys to go a deep dig into the IP addresses, and here's what we found out. This is fascinating. We found 2 cells inside of Utah. Elevate Strategies. Gabby Finlayson. Gabby, what are you doing? And who's paying you? So what I'm doing right now is, after getting this data, I'm calling out Gabby, operating in Utah.
So, hi, Kevin. We are Elevate Strategies. This is Utah. You might not know it because you're from Canada. This is where we live.
It irks me to no end. It is nails on a chalkboard painful listening to this slug man, Kevin O'Leary, utter the words our. Having those words leave his filthy, corrupt, contaminated lips that are used solely to kiss ass drives me up the fucking wall. What do you mean our, Kevin? You're not American. Why are you saying our electrical grid? You are not on the team, bud. You're not even on the bench. You are not in this at all, Kevin. You can't speak for Americans. You aren't one. You don't even bother to try and become one either. It is a complete disregard for this nation. You use it solely to line your own pockets. You fucking suck, man. Now, he's trying to call out Elevate Strategies, which is an organization in Utah, and he's saying that they're actually Chinese spies, and he thought he had like this gotcha moment, this dunk where it's like calling one of them out by name, Gabby. So come, Gabby, I'm shining a light here. Show yourself. And I guess he was expecting, a fucking Chinese operative to step forward or just complete radio silence and crickets. But what he got was the actual organizers here, Gabby herself, coming forward and talking about their goals and what they are doing in Utah as people that actually live and work there. This isn't some fucking grand conspiracy to try and stop these benevolent saints from bestowing upon us plebeians the gift of data centers. We have so many data centers that are blowing up across the country. Well, not literally. Don't worry, BlackRock's already taken that into account. I yapped about that yesterday. I mean, like this explosion of data centers being built. Like they are pushing for data centers in every single location imaginable. You'll probably find some data centers in your fucking thoughts too. They're starting to put them there as well. Like they're actually going everywhere. And we have the information from the data centers that have been operational for a while that it is a terrible deal for all the normal working people. The normal civilians get butt fucked by this. Their energy bills go through the roof. They lose water quality. It's just a complete contamination to their way of life in their local communities. And again, it doesn't bring jobs. I've mentioned this a lot. I've yapped about this endlessly, especially over the last couple of weeks. One of the biggest data centers in this country only employs roughly 150 full-time employees, and normal average-sized data centers run as lean as 20 to 25 employees. They are not giving jobs to the community, so the community sees none of the upside. It doesn't benefit them in any way, shape, or form. I know I already mentioned it, but because of the huge energy demand for these data centers, it then inevitably has the consequence that all of the local community members have their energy bills fucking skyrocket, and of course there is the impact on water and all that. But then there's also something that's starting to develop now. It happened very recently. I talked about it yesterday. NV Energy, an energy supplier to Lake Tahoe residents, let them know that they're just not going to be giving power to the people anymore. They are now going to solely focus on delivering power to their local data centers. So now 50,000 residents in Lake Tahoe are now at a risk of not even having power because NV Energy just decided it's more lucrative to just solely work with AI and basically fuck you to all of the actual human beings that rely on them for the energy to live. So now they have to try and scramble by 2027, only a year, to find a new power supplier to these 50,000 residents. It's actual insanity. Normal people do not want data centers, and they are doing all they can to fight back, albeit unsuccessfully because of the intense corruption, especially in like Utah, where 3 people, one of them even fighting for hell, saying for hell's sakes, grow up. People that are literally just going against the will of the people, deciding to brute force it through because they get some doubloons out of that deal most likely. However, I would like to highlight a successful one that has recently unfolded where recently in Missouri, the council that pushed through a data center initiative, all of them got voted out in a landslide defeat, and now they're setting their sights on the mayor who allowed this to happen as well. This is exactly how it should be. If you are not going to actually represent the people in your community, if you are going to go against their interest in order for your own greed and exploitation, you lose your job. You lose that position. That's exactly how it should be. That's exactly what's happening in this Missouri community. So hats off to them, and I hope to see more of this shit continue. Anyway, back to clowning on Kevin O'Leary.
Before we get into any anything too serious, this is the very scary, very intimidating man that is threatening us. We are not taking the criticism of anyone who is wearing flip-flops and a suit on national television. You know, it's not every day you get called out by first and last name on Fox News by a Canadian billionaire trying to ruin my state, but here we are.
Kevin is such a quirk chungus Reddit loser. He's wearing pink flip-flops with his suit and a Utah national security hat because he's cosplaying as this big, rough and tough guy. It's like if you went into a character creator in a video game and intentionally tried to make the most insufferable looking asshole you could think of. And he also has a life-size cardboard cutout of him in the same room.
I want a forensic audit of who's funding their platforms. Who is it? So these are proxies for the Chinese government's my argument. And if they're not, because I want them to be able to defend their name to Gabby, come out wherever you are.
Okay, Kevin, go ahead. Mr. Wonderful's Nancy Drew little detective agency, have at it, brother, because if we were Chinese operatives, we would be the worst operatives in the entire world. Someone alert Beijing that the payment portal to Jackie and I's Amex bills is somehow broken. As a reminder, we run Democratic campaigns in the state of Utah. If we were in this to be making money, we would be doing literally anything else. And you should know that because your job is to give small business owners an aid. But if we're talking about audits, we should be auditing the Stratos Project. We should be auditing all of the politicians that, I don't know, do you have property surrounding the Stratos Project? Or maybe do you have interests that you were changing the laws before this was created? Hypothetically. We're just saying we should maybe look into people that stand to make hundreds of millions of dollars off this project.
Audit is a word that should be treated like Voldemort in Kevin's vocabulary. He should fear the word audit. Because if anyone actually gave a fuck about Kevin's business dealings, they would uncover some extremely shady shit, I imagine. The last thing he would want is any kind of auditing for his projects like the 40,000 acre data center, the Stratos project. He's trying so hard to use the worn out method of everyone who disagrees with my business practices is a spy or a terrorist. They're not real Americans. But it doesn't work, Kevin, because data centers are so unanimously hated by real people that actually live in these communities that you are infesting that this just doesn't fly. Because, again, average, ordinary people are directly impacted by this in a wildly negative fashion, and they do actually go out and try and fight against it. So when you, a foreign billionaire, come over and start stepping all over them, insulting them and saying that they're not real Americans, they're being paid by China or being bussed in and aren't actually representative of the real enthusiasm true Americans have around data centers, it just doesn't work. People see right through the lie. He also just can't help himself but to go on this humiliation ritual where he makes it abundantly clear that he is just actually a stupid imbecile, like a bumbling moron. There's always this perception that if you have as much money as Kevin, you must be smart, but Kevin is doing everything he can to show that that's just not the case.
To stop advancement of technology with the uncertainty it brings has always been a dilemma in capitalism and in America, and it's a fair comment.
But how is this capitalism? If taxpayers are paying for some of it, how is that capitalism? That seems...
Oh, I think that's no different than building an apartment building downtown in Austin. You can get incentives for that too, and that's just part of how it works. You can debate
how is that capitalism? How is that free market? If politicians are handing you other people's money to do it, how is that capitalism?
Well, capitalism is built into the Constitution, which I think was genius.
As I said, he's been going on like every platform imaginable, and every time he finds a way to look dumber and dumber. So throughout this interview, he continues to like flounder. He was also then asked about like, well, what jobs is it going to bring? Because Kevin keeps talking about the millions of jobs that this is going to bring. People just don't see the vision. And he couldn't actually name any jobs or actually explain that thought process of his. It also looks like he's fucking zooted out of his mind. Why does he keep zoning out? Is he blue screening in the brain? Is he seeing a ghost or like a big floating pair of titties? Like, what does Kevin keep looking off into? Is he that shy, maybe? I don't know. This guy just super sucks. And it's not just the AI data centers that he's doing his best to go to bat for and defend tooth and nail. He also just loves to go on and talk about, like, American policies and stuff and his view on how that should be.
The problem with that sentiment is that you were born in 1954.
Yeah.
Okay. You're
Very popular.
You're 71.
Yeah.
Right. In 1954,
By the way, I'm a vampire. I'm never gonna die, so
during your lifetime, we've actually had Brown v. Board of Education.
I remember.
Yeah, Brown v. Board of Education. I don't know how you remember it. I think you were like
54.
2 months old. But I'm not finished yet.
Kevin can't help but perpetually interrupt when he's backed into a corner, which is always... This guy, if he didn't have money, would have just been the kind of douchebag, the kind of dweeb that just gets shoved into lockers. So he tried to pretend he knew what Brown v. Board of Education was. He's like, oh yes, I actually remember that. Very, very vividly, in fact. And the guy there's like, no, you definitely don't. You would have been 2 months old. And also, you're not American. Kevin, you're not American. You wouldn't know anything about what he's describing here or what he's going over. I know you've never opened up a fucking American history book. You don't have a clue what he's talking about, but he likes to pretend. He's a LARPer. He is a full-blown red alert LARPer. It's all he fucking does. Well, to be fair, I guess it's not all he does. He also can't help but constantly remind people that he was in Marty Supreme. That's what you heard right there where he said, I'm a vampire, by the way. That's a reference to one of his character's lines from that film where he plays a villain. It's like the only thing Kevin's done in recent memory where there was any level of praise for his work. So he's still riding that high, and he will not let people forget the vampire line from his Marty Supreme debut. It's actually a SpongeBob ripped pants moment. He just keeps doing it. I ripped my pants. I'm a vampire. Fucking loser, man. I hate Kevin O'Leary. Anyway, I'll stop yapping about it. He just goes on to keep embarrassing himself every time he does one of these shows. It is indefensible what he is doing in Utah with the 40,000 acre data center. This guy sucks major ass. Fuck you, Kevin O'Leary. That's really about it. So, yeah. A few days back, Big Bubba Bill Clinton, as well as Hillary Clinton, were talking with a panel about the Epstein files and their involvement in it and the photos and what they all mean, giving their perspective on things. While not being formally accused of wrongdoing, they were there to try and explain their side, so they'd, spaghetti out a bunch of lore here, and that was really it. And not a whole lot's come from it outside of, clips, of Hillary Clinton getting upset during it, and Bill Clinton in particular, who I really want to yap about because he was giddy. He was like Howard Lutnick anytime Epstein's name gets brought up. He couldn't stop laughing and smiling throughout the whole thing. And there's one particular moment that we went over on stream that I have just got to show you because it is certified wackiness. This is actual bozo clown level insanity here. He goes through the Epstein files and some of the photos there he's scrapbooking. Now, apparently one of them was about a painting of him in a dress or something that he was giggling about. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but that's the speculation based off of what you can kind of see when he's turning one of the pages. But it is weird. And to me, it showcases just how little they actually give a fuck about the Epstein files. They treat it like a joke. Bill Clinton treating it like a joke, the entire fucking administration, Howard Lutnick in particular, actually busts a gut every time Epstein's name gets brought up. The powerful people know they're going to get away with it. And I really think this whole hearing is just a farce. I think this is just a little song and dance for the plebeians to enjoy. Look, we're doing something about Epstein files. Look, here's the Clintons. No, we're not actually accusing them of doing anything wrong, but we're pretending that we might. Even though the administration has reiterated multiple times to just drop it, move on, and that there probably won't be any real investigations henceforth. And Perjury Patel likes to keep lying about it out the wazoo till his whole anus falls out, till he full-blown prolapses on his lies. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in this, a committee here that was asking the Clintons questions. I think it's just a sham. I would love if they really did investigate them and everyone in the Epstein files, but I don't think that's coming, and based off of Bill Clinton's attitude here, I think they're also pretty confident that nothing like that's on the horizon anytime soon. Did you see Did you see the clip of Bill Clinton smiling while looking at old Epstein photos while his lawyer was trying to take them away? Oh my God, yeah.
And for the record, what is happening in this photo?
He's smiling at me. Looks like he's talking to me.
Can you describe the circumstances surrounding this photo?
Are you asking him if he recalls?
I do not. I have no idea.
You appear to be comfortable with Mr. Epstein in this photo. What do you disagree with?
I'm comfortable with a lot of people. I'm comfortable here. I'm not happy, but I'm comfortable. Let me see it.
Damn, they don't have the whole thing. So in the whole thing going up to this, he looked at it, he started smiling, his lawyer took it away, and he goes over with a big smile on his face. He's like, give me it, give me it, give me it. And then he reminisces. They're cutting out all the bits. It's so shameless. Just look at the way he follows it. It's like a dog when you take their toy and they're ready to play fetch. It's unbelievable. That's enough, Bill. No, wait. Stop. I was having fun. You wouldn't believe the story behind this one.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour, so I just want to ask you some questions related to
crazy
the crimes.
It's crazy.
Epstein and Miss Maxwell.
Unreal. Bill being nostalgic is crazy. I know, man. And his lawyer is like, okay, this, come on. That's enough. Those were the days, off face, yeah. Can I get a copy of that? Like, the way he starts pointing at it actually makes me feel like he's asking for, can I check out some more of these? Okay. He's having so much fun. I think this is the happiest Bill Clinton has looked since he got the fucking Blowjoptimus Prime from Monica Lewinsky. This guy is glistening. He is like radiant with glee going through these Epstein files. And I've seen some weird defense of this where people are claiming that the reason he's acting that way is because he's taken aback by the comical attempt to pin bad stuff on him with the Epstein files here. So he's not taking it seriously because they've done such a poor job. It's actually a galaxy brain chess maneuver from Bill Clinton here to show that he's not guilty. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This makes him look significantly more guilty, at least to me it does. And I imagine this probably is pretty poorly put together. I imagine they haphazardly threw this committee together without any real teeth or any real drive for justice. Probably just as a way of trying to, appease the public, showing that there is movement on this front, since most sane, sensible people aren't dropping this. But what Bill Clinton's doing here doesn't show like he's not guilty. It shows that he doesn't take this seriously as if it's a big deal, when it is. The administration keeps trying to hammer home the point that you shouldn't care about this and that it's not a big deal and we need to move on, which I think is the most unhinged shit imaginable, because this deals with the largest sex trafficking operation in this country's history. Like, the abuse, the trafficking, the potential murder, of children at the hands of Epstein and Epstein's clients, and nobody has been arrested outside of Maxwell, who again gets to just go to a fucking summer camp instead of a prison because of this administration. It's absurd. You should care about this. And then you have people like Bill Clinton here, who in front of this committee is now just giggling about it and looks like he can't wait to keep reminiscing going through these files. He's probably excited to get back in that chair to look at more photos. And even in the slightest, literal tiniest iota of a chance that Bill Clinton isn't guilty of any wrongdoing, the behavior that he's showcasing here, I think, is still completely unacceptable because of the severity of this case. This is a child sex trafficking operation that went on for so many years, implicating some of the most powerful people on the fucking planet, and nobody's taking it seriously in the government here. It's unbelievable. And Bill Clinton can't stop laughing about it. And people in the administration can't stop laughing about it. It's just crazy to me. And I don't know how anyone could watch this and defend it. Now, throughout the deposition, both Bill and Hillary maintain that they didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing sexual or anything like that ever happened. When Bill was pressed about some of the photos in the files, like him and Maxwell in a pool with an unidentified woman, he said, that was actually at a hotel, nothing sexual, nothing freaky, nothing weird. And I imagine that's where the investigation stops. I have no confidence, no faith in anyone actually pursuing real justice against the evil co-conspirators, the fucking heinous, vile monsters, the clients of Jeffrey Epstein. I don't believe anyone's actually going to seriously try and get anyone thrown in the slammer for it. I really do think this committee, this little hearing here, is just a performance. See, we asked Bill Clinton the hard-hitting questions, and then he said, that's a bunch of fiddlesticks. And we said, well, if Bill says so, we did all we could. Hands are tied. Because that's kind of been the whole attitude about it. That and making a mockery of it. A joke out of the Epstein files. You know, Bill Clinton laughing about it. Administration constantly giggling about it. You know, they're slapping their knee every time Epstein's name is brought up. It's fucking scary. It's so out of control, man. But anyway, I had to yap about this Bill Clinton clip in particular. There's actually a few moments like this throughout the whole thing, but that one's the most egregious, so that was the one that I wanted to show. That's the one I think most people have probably seen by now, too, because it's so ridiculous. But there are quite a few moments like that throughout there. They just don't last as long as this one did. He really got lost in his happy thoughts, reminiscing in his Epstein days, his glory days. Anyway, though, that's really about it. It's fucking sick stuff, man. Absolutely twisted. Alright, so yeah. Review bomb battles aren't rare, but they are embarrassing. And right now, there is a bloody showdown going on between Breaking Bad fans and Game of Thrones fans.
The most recent episode, In the Name of the Mother, was originally sitting at a 10 out of 10, which is quite common when a really good episode of a show releases because fans will flood the ratings with 10 out of 10s before it eventually settles a little bit lower when the less hardcore fans give it a rating. But there wasn't really a chance for this to happen. Soon after release, the episode started getting review bombed, as you can see by this perfectly natural voting distribution. I guess the show is either a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10.
This shit is always so cringe. I've said it a million times. I think Breaking Bad is a perfect television series, and this episode in particular, I think 1000% deserves a 10 out of 10. Till the cows come home. If the universe lasts another 10 billion years before the heat death, I hope at that moment Ozymandias will still have a 10 out of 10 rating, because that's what it's earned. I think it is an incredible masterpiece. But that doesn't mean that nothing else can ever be a 10 out of 10. There can only be one. Shit. Even the Sith in the fucking Star Wars universe had the rule of 2 at the very least. It's ridiculous how there's like this gatekeeping of 10 out of 10 from the Breaking Bad fans. So anytime something even starts to like encroach on that sacred ground, on the Ozymandias sacred ground, they start review bombing it without ever having seen it at all, just to fuck it. It's so embarrassing. Like, there's a group of people in every fandom that for some reason take it so seriously that they put the achievements and the accolades of the property they're a fan of on their own soul. So in this case, there are people whose entire identity and personality revolves around being a defender of Breaking Bad and ensuring that this 10 out of 10 remain unsullied by anything else coming close, and they'll fight tooth and nail for it. It's just so embarrassing because, like, they feel personally attacked because another show has an extremely good episode, like in this case, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms with In the Name of the Mother. I am a huge fan of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I already made a video recently glazing it, which thankfully has not aged poorly or anything because this show is only getting better. The finale airs tonight. I'm extremely pumped for it. And I think that this was an incredible episode of the television show. Do I think it would have stayed a 10 out of 10 without the review bombing? No, I don't think so, because it's not a 10 out of 10 episode. Very few things are. It probably would have settled in like the 9-7-ish range if I had to spitball, but the fact that it got review bombed in there and just fucking dragged to hell for the crime of just being an extremely good episode of a television series is so fucking silly.
Well, due to having a 10 out of 10, and the only other episode of a show with a 10 out of 10 being Ozymandias from Breaking Bad, when the review bombing started, people were quick to blame Breaking Bad fans. And I'm sure a lot of the review bombers were, but also some people just like causing chaos. Well, anyway, the news that Breaking Bad fans were review bombing the show went viral, and in turn, Game of Thrones fans decided to retaliate, review bombing Ozymandias, which held a rating of 10 out of 10 for basically 13 years. But after the recent review bombing, is now sitting at a 9.7 with a massive 71,000 one-star reviews.
That is a very good point. There's no 100% confirmed evidence to suggest every single one-star review bomb that came out of nowhere was from Breaking Bad fans or anything. There definitely are people that just want to poo-poo on anyone's fun and do what they can to shove a little misery wherever they are able to. So it's definitely possible it's just people that did it for the sake of, you know, fuck you guys and that's it. But there were some very vocal Breaking Bad fans going through the marching orders of review bombing this and getting a lot of people on their side to do it, at least from what I saw. And what is clear is after that story went viral, as Dolan Darkus said, then Game of Thrones fans responded by review bombing Ozymandias, and now it is no longer at the 10 out of 10, which is just, that's an affront to God. Because I do think it is a 10 out of 10 episode. There's a reason why it's held a 10 out of 10 for 13 years. And now it's gone. Fizzled. Over what? Why? Why spill this blood? Why can't multiple shows be extremely good? Why can't there be 10 out of 10 episodes in more shows? I would rather that world as opposed to just one 10 out of 10 ever made. Like, I don't see why Breaking Bad fans get upset if there's another show that gets, teetering on a 10 out of 10 or extremely close, whatever, that they feel they need to start review bombing to keep it in line so that way there's only ever one. I would much rather a world where many shows are having 10 out of 10 masterpiece performances, because that's much more entertaining than just getting served dog shit.
Similar things have also happened in the past with Attack on Titan fans and Breaking Bad fans review bombing each other. You can tell it's bad because the next episode of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which actually hasn't even released yet, has also been review bombed. The entire thing is basically just next level unemployed activities.
True. Dolan's right. So yeah, even the episode that's airing in a couple of hours from now is already been review bombed here because of this pointless loser fight.
Here's some of the more pathetic reviews from either side. We've got this Breaking Bad fan giving it a 1 out of 10 and saying, Game of Thrones can never be a percent of Breaking Bad. Bunch of cornball fighting over this medieval slop, just stories of kings and kingdoms. I have seen better in that genre too, but this is too overrated, and review bombings won't even change the fact that Breaking Bad has been 10 out of 10 for more than a decade. And Game of Thrones, even in hundreds of years with hundreds of sloppy spin-offs, can never do it for once.
Jesus Christ, Junior, from the sound of your message here, it doesn't even sound like you were alive when Breaking Bad was airing. Holy fuck, did he write that review on construction paper with a box of crayons? My God. I think that is the perfect epitome for these review bombing soldiers here, the champions on the front lines of these review bomb battles between fandoms. That right there is the perfect summation of their mentality. Actual baby brain.
And we've got this one from a Game of Thrones fan. The last thing you're ever going to see is a Game of Thrones fan smiling down at you as you lose your rating. When people ask what happened here, tell them the North remembers. Tell them winter came for Breaking Bad. Not every story is about a chemistry teacher with ego issues. Some episodes are about character depth, atmosphere, tension before the storm, subtle storytelling.
Holy Redditor, I can actually hear the grease and fedora slipping off of his cranium as he typed that one up. To be fair, you have to have a high IQ to understand review bombing, am I right? Oh my goodness gracious.
It's just embarrassing, man. I mean, I guess Breaking Bad fans were the ones who started it. The best outcome I can think of is that IMDb just wipes all the fake ratings from both shows over the last few days, and the people involved go out and apply for a job or something. You're allowed to like both shows, guys. It's not a competition. Thanks for slopping by.
I don't know if that's something IMDb often does with getting rid of baloney, bogus reviews that are very clearly like this, a review bombing back and forth buttfuck fest. I don't know if they do that, but if they don't, probably should. I think it is such a crime that because of all of this hoopla, Ozymandias is no longer a 10 out of 10. And as Dolan said, it does seem like Breaking Bad fans were the ones that started this just completely unnecessary nonsense review bombing war, all because A Night of the Seven Kingdoms had a banger episode that was doing really well on IMDb. And now look where we are. All this bloodshed for what? Nothing to show for it. War. War never changes. Yeah, review bombs are cringe. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.
5 of you really want to do it and you don't have it, but there's 3 people in here that can give it to them so that they qualify. Here's the hard part of my offering or my request.
Okay.
And I've not done this in probably 20 years ago.
20 days.
But Lord said, I want to make a multi-millionaire out of someone, but they have to sow $10,000.
90 seconds already.
And I'm going to show you who I am. And for the rest of your days, everywhere the sole of your feet shall trod, you shall possess the land.
The Lord? You're saying you don't trust that guy? Seems like you might burn in hell!
And you will get your release in Jesus' name. Everyone else get $200. I want you to do it, women, especially who've had a difficult moment, and get in the center aisle. I will not beg, but I will not stop till there's 30 there as fast as possible.
Now he hasn't forgot the 200, right? So he asked for the 10,000. Now you got to the 200s too.
Somebody shout hallelujah. I hear the person, in order for me to get this 10,000, I got to go to a special account. I don't care where you got to go.
When I heard him say that, I had the same reaction as he. I think you get what's going on here, and it sucks. Anyway, that's really about it. So, yeah. Whoa. Yeah, I just learned about the whole Lucari thing. Jinkies. So for like about a year or so, I was very offline. I set out to leave these four walls of the old loony bin more often to go breathe in the fresh air and really appreciate the Lord's land out there in the real world. So I was missing a lot of like the happenings in the internet space and all the drama for the most part. But over the last month or so, I've fallen off the wagon. I put the needle back in my arm to a certain degree because I wanted to see all the craziness going on in the world to stay up to date with everything that was happening. And as such, I've been much more online now and seeing a lot more of these kind of things. And today was a doozy with everything that just happened with a streamer named Lucari. Lucari is a streamer I've been loosely familiar with for a while, and I know he had built up a reputation for being like a turbo maximum overdrive gooner, like a self-proclaimed hentai connoisseur, basically setting the goon dial to freaky mode. And today on stream, he accidentally leaked his notepad that was filled with despicable and disgusting shit.
K feeds. Let me at least add a way to the list of champions that I like. Fuck.
The links are censored there, but apparently a lot of people have taken the plunge into looking up a lot of what was revealed here through the Lucari leaks, and what they have found is beyond heinous. Like, this is some evil shit we're talking about here. Things like family nudism, apparently. Like, that's some real pedophile shit right there. Also, like, teens and animals. In that notepad there, you might have saw one of the tabs that said JBT. It was like 500 JBT. Apparently that stands for jailbait teens. Like, it's bad. Like, really, really bad. And after this happened, his stream was calling him out on it. And most people expected him to, in the stream, to like hide the evidence, nuke it, basically banish it to the Shadow Realm and hope that people didn't have enough time to dig into it. Lucari, on the other hand, cooked up a different kind of scheme. He streamed for multiple hours after this happened, and just fucking face-tanked everybody that was digging into it, and all the people that were rightfully calling him out for how deplorable the shit they found in there was. So he kept streaming through this, and people were obviously researching what the fuck had just been revealed through this notepad and everything on there. And then he was trying to defend himself by saying like, oh, this was sent to me, or oh, it was actually a virus, or this and that. And then the stream, they weren't really buying that load of barnacles, so then they asked him to do something like show his notepad recents, to show what else had been on his notepad recently. And apparently he took quite a long time not doing that when requested by his chat. According to members that were asking this of him, he was looking at like his other monitor, potentially doing something there, and then eventually he showed his notepad. And the keen observers might notice a little something in front of their peepers that's a bit fishy.
Fap for Fun? Fap for Fun is a hentai site. You also visit Fap for Fun? Yeah, I download a lot of that shit. Couples? Okay. That's literally, is that not the, that's the file with the sus shit in it. Like, It says one thing, but it has a bunch of such shit in it. So I don't understand. Like,
when he showed the recents on Notepad, there are 3 new text documents. And it doesn't take a super sleuth. You don't need Inspector Gadget to come in with some high-level tools in order to crack this case. The most likely reason is because when he looked at his recents in Notepad, there were probably some really awful things there that he knew people would pick up on. So then he opened some new text documents in Notepad to push those down out of the recents so people couldn't see them. That's the theory. That's just a game theory, but I imagine that's probably pretty accurate. Anyway though, his big claim from what I can tell with all the surviving clips here is that this is the result of a virus that uploaded this to his computer, and he had already removed it, but unfortunately that damn Windows 11, that dastardly bastard that is Windows 11, for some reason kept it around, which is really weird and odd.
how does it end up there? Okay, let me explain what happened. All right? I was surfing a site. Okay? The shit got downloaded. Like, I didn't trigger a fucking download. It just got downloaded. I opened up the fucking text document. I saw what was in it. I deleted the text document. I deleted it. But the problem with Windows 11 is that even if you delete the text document, it apparently still stays there. So it was still there after I deleted it. I've told you guys 1,000 times that's what happened. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I have like a fucking 3 terabytes of fucking hentai on my fucking hard drive, bro. Like a lot. Sometimes you go to a site, some shit downloads on your shit, you don't fucking want it, you fucking delete it, and that's just what happened, man. Okay? Like, that's what happened. I'm sorry, all right? Like, I don't know how many times I have to explain this, but that's what happened. Dude, let's just move the fuck on, please.
A very interesting, innovative defense strategy that could make a lawyer throw himself down a set of stairs. So he's saying that he's got 3 terabytes of hentai, which, just take a moment and process that, really let that marinate. That is an absurd amount of anything to have. This guy is basically compiling the fucking Library of Alexandria for hentai on his devices. That's fucking crazy. But he's saying that, you know, like Thanos, it was inevitable that this kind of content would somehow end up on his computer when downloading all this hentai. It happens, you know? Just, it is what it is. And then when he deleted it, Windows 11 went rogue. The ghost in the machine. It wouldn't let the notepad die. Like a necromancer, it revived it. And once again, brought it back to life on Lakari's device. Even though he himself deleted it, he tried to take it down. Windows 11 said no. That's the claim, that when he was downloading all the hentai, he noticed that this got downloaded too, so he deleted it, but Windows 11 has a feature that kept it around even after he deleted it, and he didn't plan on having this stuff in the first place. I'm going to tell you, it doesn't really pass the smell test. It is very hard to believe. Now, what is true about Windows 11, and Notepad in particular, is if you are working in Notepad, and you don't save your work, like if you exit out of it or your computer crashes and you don't save it, Windows 11 can restore it. It will actually restore that even if you didn't explicitly save it. So let me show you what that looks like. I'll open Notepad, brand new, wow, brown fox jumped over the lazy log. I have clearly not saved, I have not done anything here, I have just typed into this and you can see that the title matches the text in the document. Now if I was to close out of it, I haven't saved or anything like that, but if I open Notepad again, it's still there. Even though this is not a document or anything that I have saved, because it will save sessions. In Lakari's case, the text didn't match the title, which means he most likely had a separate title for those sections. And also, he said that he deleted it. If I was to, delete this, if I told this, don't save, delete it, Notepad would not restore it. At least I don't think there's any way for it to, but maybe Lakari's working with a prototype notepad that refuses to let anything die. It saves all work no matter what you tell it to do. I find it unlikely, but I guess it's possible, potentially. Actually, here, let's play with that idea again real quick. Let's say Lakari went, I'll just go the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy log again. I haven't saved it or anything, but let's just go ahead and pretend that I came here and I said don't save. But once again, to show the whole process, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to close out of this. I'm going to reopen it, and it's still there, because it does save sessions like that. But if I came over here and I explicitly said don't save, and now I exit out of this, it will no longer open that. So I find his claim very hard to believe.
43K? And that's if they think it's like... Oh my fucking God. Bro, it's not worth it. Just fucking delete my hard drive.
This is him on stream now looking at the legality of lolly in his state, Texas. He doesn't fully understand what he's looking at, but he can recognize that it's not good, and then he eventually says that he's just going to delete his hard drive. It's not worth it. Now, call me crazy, maybe I'm on the crack pipe, but that just doesn't exactly sound like a statement from an innocent man. Like, if you've done nothing wrong and there's nothing suspicious, illegal, or like pedophilic or anything like that, why would you then be saying that you're going to delete your hard drive? It's not worth it. That's very fishy, I'll tell you. And again, from that leak, from that notepad, the things that have been allegedly turned up from all of it are fucking unforgivable. Like, really disgusting, terrible shit. And him then saying, like, you know, just delete the hard drive, it's not worth it. Again, that doesn't really seem like behavior from someone that has nothing to hide.
I'm joking about it. What the fuck, dude? What are you just writing your own narrative? You're just writing your own narrative, man. What the fuck else do you want me to do? What do you want to do? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't do anything. I didn't fucking do anything. That's why I'm not fucking crying and sobbing, bitch. I didn't fucking do anything, dumbass. You just want me to be guilty so fucking bad. Shut the fuck up, retard. Jesus fucking Christ, I'm so sick of this. You want me to be guilty so fucking...
Yeah, like I said, he continued streaming for hours, so obviously people were talking about it for a long time. He snaps eventually and kind of goes ballistic about it, saying like he didn't do anything. Again, I find that kind of hard to believe given everything that happened on stream, at least from the surviving clips that are out there from it. It does not look good. This looks fucking awful. And Lakari got a ban on Twitch for all of this. Apparently he even got banned on Kick. I don't know if he like actively streams on Kick or if that was like a preemptive thing from Kick because they thought he'd go over there after he got banned on Twitch. I don't know, but if you try and go to Lakari's Twitch account, it has been removed as of right now in light of everything that happened during this stream. Again, I find it unlikely that this unfolded the way Lakari is claiming that it did, but I guess we'll see. I'm assuming there will probably be, you know, an actual kind of investigation here, judging by what was allegedly found in some of that leaked from Lakari. Anyway, I had to yap about this a bit. Fucking crazy, man. That's really about it. See ya. You already know I keep my finger on the pulse of ridiculous stories going on around the globe. I'm like Charles Xavier jacked into Cerebro, seeing the silliness on our planet at all times. I'm obsessed with it. LeBron, scream if you love wacky news stories. Ah! So the thing is, I just saw something pretty absurd. A couple months ago, an 86-year-old man was fined over $300 for littering because he spit out a leaf that blew into his mouth. This happened in England. Roy Marsh, 86 years old, spit out a leaf that blew into his mouth, which led to a fine. As I was sitting there, a gale blew a big reed into my mouth. I spat it out, and just as I got up to walk away, 2 enforcement officers came up to me. Roy ought to be counting his lucky stars they didn't kick his teeth in and start beating him with batons. Spitting out a leaf? Are you kidding me? Who is this? Cobra Commander? What kind of villainous scum does that? To get off with only a fine and what could have easily been a death penalty is a shocking softball. A slap on the wrist for something like spitting out a leaf? Oh my god, the lawlessness. It's sickening. That's tantamount to treason. And he gets to walk away with just a fine. I'll flush the sarcasm here for just a moment. Can you even imagine being this big of a loser like these 2 officers here? You see an elderly man, an 86-year-old man, spit out a leaf, and you just rush over there like it's the most exciting moment of your life, like this is your action hero moment, to just flop a fine on his lap for it, for littering. Just picture this scenario. Old man spits out a leaf and immediately just starts hearing sirens blaring. They got these 2 goobers, cherries on, scooting in sideways. Sir, what the fuck do you think you're doing? You have a license for that spit? Oh, what the fuck? And then you get like a fine. All for just spitting out a leaf. Marsh told the outlet that one of the officers told him they saw him spitting on the floor, which led to the elderly man calling the local enforcer a silly boy. Fair. That's not aggressive or anything. He probably thought it was some kind of joke, so he was just being a bit, facetious here, I would say. That doesn't really sound like fighting words or anything, calling him a silly boy. Because it is a ridiculous notion having officers come up to you and say they saw you spit on the floor. Yep, so what? Big whoop, pussy. It was all unnecessary and all out of proportion, Marsh said, per the BBC. In a Facebook post from Marsh's daughter, she said, Dad, who has walking difficulties but does his best to walk every day around the boating lake, inhaled a small leaf that made him choke. Dad has severe asthma and a heart condition, but he managed to cough up the leaf and spit it out. Just the leaf. So according to his daughter, he had inhaled the leaf after the gust, choked on it for a second, and then was able to cough it up and spit it out. That's when he got slapped with the fine after the officers confronted him. What was he supposed to do? Just choke to death? Just die? Like, how else are you even supposed to handle this? Like, what's the alternative way of getting a leaf out of your throat that you are choking on besides just spitting it up? Was he supposed to, like, track down some officers and beg them to stick their fingers down his throat to start, like, scooping it out in order to avoid littering? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I genuinely cannot comprehend what other methods or means there were for him to handle this in a way that didn't lead to a multi-$100 fine. Marsh ended up receiving a fine of $334.50, but was later reduced on appeal to $200.70. He paid the latter. Adrian Finley, a county... Oh, Jesus, sorry, I had a big burp stuck in my throat right there. If this was the UK, I might have got fucking fined for littering with the stink air that I just spit out there. Oh my god, that was rancid. That was revolting. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Anyway, Adrian Finley, a county... I burped so hard it made me illiterate. A county councillor who works as a representative for reform on Lincolnshire County Council told the BBC he had received numerous similar complaints from others in the area. So I guess this is just like a common racket where they're just slapping people with fines for really trivial shit. Enforcement officers are taking it too far. There needs to be discretion about how enforcement officers, issue fines. If it looks like a genuine accident, then give people the opportunity to apologize and pick it up. Sounding less like enforcement officers and more like hall monitors, but even hall monitors wouldn't go this hard on something so silly, so outrageously dumb. Like an 86-year-old man who spit out a leaf. And I guess judging by this statement, it's a common trend with these enforcement officers over there to be issuing fines for littering or what they perceive as littering. Though, if this guy had a handful of leaves and threw them on the ground, I would still hesitate to call that littering. It's leaves in the great outdoors. That's their goddamn home. Leaves come from outside. Like, I don't know how... Even if he did deliberately chew up a leaf and spit it out, how is that even littering? It's not like he had like a handful of soda cans and was just throwing them out all over the place in order to ruin the atmosphere or something by littering everywhere he could, polluting or anything. He spit out a leaf that was the aggressor, mind you. The leaf attacked him. It fucking launched itself into his throat, causing him to choke, so he spit it out and then had to fork over a couple $100 because of that. So the leaf, we need to be investigating that. We got that's more of a pressing problem than him spitting out the leaf. This story is so stupid that it actually had me somewhat fuming, like playfully fuming, I suppose. But it reminded me a lot of another really wacky one we covered like a year ago, where we even had like a roundtable debate where I think it was Ohio, where Supreme Court ruled that boneless chicken wings can have bones. This was after a customer had eaten a boneless wing and actually suffered a serious injury because of the bone in the wing cutting his shit up. And they actually ruled that boneless is a cooking technique, a cooking style that doesn't necessarily indicate the absence of bones. So it's unreasonable to expect boneless wings to have to have no bones in them. It was still one of the most ridiculous things I've ever fucking heard in my life, by the way. And reading about this leaf fine brought up similar feelings as that. And I just had to yap about it a bit. That's really it. So yeah. Yeah, I know this is something I don't typically talk about, but I'm going to blabber about it quite a bit today. I was recently talking about Saudi Arabia after their purchase of EA, going into detail about how they are gluttonously buying up basically everything thanks to their infinite money that they have at their disposal. They're basically playing life on admin mode. Like they've entered this era where they just have so much money and now they're using it to buy everything. And I've talked about my own personal experience seeing that firsthand in the esports space. They fundamentally own esports. They've got the entire industry on nipple clamps right now thanks to the money they pump into it because it's an industry that is deprived of it and they are starving, malnourished when it comes to finances. And then Saudi Arabia has swooped in with that supple teat that they're allowing all the orgs to suckle from. Thus, they now basically have esports in a stranglehold, a fucking full Nelson, really. And this is extending to basically everything in the entertainment and tech sector. And most recently, I'm sure a lot of you saw, there was a Saudi Arabian royal family-backed Riyadh comedy festival where basically every comedian with a pulse got paid a bag to go perform in Riyadh. And pretty much all of them did it with a big old smile on their face, and now that they've finished it, they're doing their best mental gymnastics to justify why it's actually not a big thing and they're not hypocrites for doing it. For those that don't know, Saudi Arabia has a multitude of human rights violations. One of the biggest ones that make the comedians in particular look like hypocrites is their complete disregard for freedom of speech. Like, that doesn't exist there. They execute people for some of the things they say. There are so many notable examples of it. And Dave Chappelle, in particular, has just released a little statement that I think is so laughably delusional that I cannot help but shoot spitballs at it, which is so painful because growing up, Dave Chappelle was such a big part of my childhood, as I'm sure many others. But this is just not the same guy. He has been replaced by a fucking skinwalker. He unironically said that it's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia than it is in America. If that isn't the dumbest fucking thing I've heard of since Hawk Tuacoin. Dave, to even perform there, you signed a contract that expressly forbid you from talking about or joking about things that may be considered to degrade, defame, or bring into public disrepute, contempt, scandal, embarrassment, or ridicule Saudi Arabia, its ruling government, royal family, or any religion or any religious figure, period. This comes from a comedian that was offered to perform, but said no, which is apparently very rare because not many comedians had the wherewithal to say no. They didn't have the strength. So this contract was leaked, revealed to everybody from a comedian named Atsuka Okatsuka. Hopefully I said that name correctly. She got the invitation, the contract to go, and declined. She refused, and then revealed all of the stipulations that were put in the contract in the first place to ensure people were gagged on the things they were allowed to joke and talk about there. So all the comedians preaching about like how free they felt to speak, they literally signed a piece of paper binding them to ensure they wouldn't talk about a lot of things. So these are things that you are literally not allowed to talk about, Dave. You muzzled yourself just to even attend, to even accept that bag of money. It came with the stipulation that you would not talk about these things. It was fucking forbidden, Dave. Yeah, it's so easy to talk there as long as you agree to not talk about this laundry list of shit that they don't want you to talk about. And Dave, maybe you didn't read the contract. In fact, I'm confident you didn't. So, what if you did end up talking about things they didn't want you to talk about? What would have happened? Would you have ended up like one of the many people who were sentenced to death for criticizing the government or making, like, you know, what they deem to be destabilizing remarks? Because that's something that Saudi Arabia still does pretty often. Like, even in 2025, there's been a lot of executions, and one of them was a journalist who had made posts talking about corruption in the Saudi Arabian regime. His name was Turki al-Jassar, and he recently was put to death on June 14th after being accused of terrorist crimes, including destabilizing the security of society and stability of the state, which, you're not going to believe this, Dave, there was no evidence for those alleged crimes. But don't worry, his family did at least get to visit him before they took his life, but his family wasn't informed that they were going to kill him. That was just a little surprise they sprung up. And they also haven't got his body, by the way, either. Weirdly enough, Dave, it seems like his crime was talking. I don't know, man, there's just so many things there that are just giving me this inkling of a suspicion that it's not exactly as easy to talk there as you like to claim that it is, man. I don't know, there's just little birdies out there saying that it's not exactly super easy to talk in Saudi Arabia. You just happen to agree not to talk about the things that they didn't want you to. Brother, this is just so fucking see-through. Why don't you just be honest and say that the money they offered was too much to turn down? At least that's honest. At the very least, you're being honest. Like, Bill Burr's trying the same fucking mental gymnastics too, as opposed to just admitting, yep, I took the money, I know it makes me a hypocrite, don't care, it was a lot of money to perform for like a day or two or whatever. Like, you might as well just be honest. You've already fucking done it. There's really nothing you can say to be like, actually, this place fucking rocks. This is like all about, you know, we get to joke about what we want and have a good hoot and holler. Because that's just so blatantly wrong. It is so provably false. There are so many things you can pull from to show all of the ways in which that is just not the case. Like, come on. People have the internet at their fingertips. They can easily just Google Saudi Arabia, like, speech laws or something. And you will find instantly, by the way, Turki al-Jassar, who was just executed, he has been incarcerated for 7 years because of his crime of talking about things they didn't want discussed. And he was even allegedly tortured before they just recently executed him. Like, people can easily find this information, and yes, it does make you hypocrites. Because Dave Chappelle is someone that's, in this statement here, talking about how hard it is to make jokes in America because you might get canceled. And sure, fair enough, that is something that has been going on in America for a while now, and it super sucks. Unfortunately, it's only becoming more and more common now, too. It's fucking terrible. But, in Saudi Arabia, you don't just get canceled, you get canned. You get sent to meet your maker if you talk about things that they don't want discussed. Here, the worst thing that's gonna happen to Dave fucking Chappelle if he gets, like, canceled is he'll lose, like, a show. But then he'll make up for it with a $50 million Netflix special and 100,000 new fans because people usually will support someone that gets, like, a show taken away because they said a joke that was too raunchy or something. Whereas the worst thing that'll happen to Dave Chappelle in Saudi Arabia if he did decide to go rogue off book and start criticizing like the royal family and talking about corruption and shit, they might have fucking imprisoned him and maybe down the line killed him. Because they have a track record of doing that. Maybe not someone to Dave Chappelle's size, they probably wouldn't do that because they know that would be such an international incident, but to just paint the picture, that is something they do there and actively continue to do, showing no signs of stopping. And yet Dave has the chutzpah to try and claim that it's easier to talk there than here. Fucking crazy, man. I almost feel like part of the contract had to be like brainwashing of these comedians too, like literally just forcing them to spit shit out for them, just vomit like tourism brochures. Because Bill Burr, after coming back, is like, oh my god, this was life-changing, calling it a top 3 experience he's had. It was a great experience, that part of the world, and to be part of the first comedy festival over there in Saudi Arabia. The Royals loved the show. You don't say. They loved it? Damn, Bill, that's crazy that they happened to love it. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled. Great news, man. I'm super happy to hear that it went really well for the Saudi Arabian Royals there. I was worried I was a little nervous that the sets might kind of not go over really well there, but I'm happy to hear it was a home run with the Royals. God, Bill Burr's defense of it is almost as fucking stupid as Dave Chappelle's. You think everyone's going to be screaming death to America and they're going to have like fucking machetes and want to chop my head off, because this is what I've been fed about that part of the world. Who are you even talking to, like addressing with this? A ghost? Like, what? Who is actually expecting you to go over there and be met with machetes and people screaming death to America? They paid you unfathomable money to be there for a day, Bill. They're probably not going to be trying to chop your head off screaming death to America. You are there as a helpful, useful puppet on their strings that they are feeding money to dance because it is supposed to help them with tourism. This is put on by their fucking, like, tourism arm here. And also to help obfuscate a lot of the bad stuff going on over there. Of course they're not going to make you have a horrible time, Bill, by waving machetes around. What are you talking about? What a crazy, unhinged statement. So Bill, before getting there, thought he was going to be met with machetes and people screaming death to America? Really? That was the impression you were under? Also, the way he talks about Saudi Arabia, like what he describes, I think is just like extremely fucking weird. Is that a Starbucks next to a Pizza Hut, next to a Burger King, next to a McDonald's? They got a fucking Chili's over here. I had to stop a couple times during the show and say, I'll be honest with you guys, I cannot fucking believe any of you have any idea who I am. It was just this great exchange of energy. They know their reputation, so they were extra friendly. How is that anything beyond, like, a full-blown insult? Is Bill just a big fucking idiot or something? Like, how oblivious is he to the world around him? He's talking about Saudi Arabia like he's talking to children, like, I cannot believe you guys even know who I am over here. He expected them to not have, like, electricity or internet or something? Like, why wouldn't they know who you are, Bill? You're one of the biggest names in the world. Why would you think they wouldn't know who you were? He talks about this, like, it's just, I'm not taking crazy pills, right? Like, this is a super odd thing to say. He took this money, and as he's going over there, he thought he was going to be met with machetes and people coming for his skull saying, death to America. He gets there, and now he's, like, raising an eyebrow, shocked, saying things like, you guys have a fucking Chili's over here? What are the odds? Over here, in this part of the world, you have a Chili's? It's just so weird. Like, again, if Bill would just say, like, look, I'm a hypocrite, I took the money, I couldn't resist, I put my hand in the cookie jar. I was too tempted. It is what it is. At the very least, he'd be being honest. Like, there's more dignity in that than what he's trying here with these statements. It's fucking crazy. Now, I don't want to just insult all the comedians that went. That would be a 10-hour video, because every comedian went, basically. There were a few that didn't, and I want to give flowers to one in particular, Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis has been on a meteoric rise for over a year now, where he's become one of the biggest names in comedy. And Shane Gillis, according to him, was offered a bag to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. But he turned it down. He even did make a statement saying that he took a principled stand and declined the offer to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. Now, he's not the only one that said no. I already mentioned Atsuko Akatsuka. She's the one that actually revealed the censorship rules in the contract that we talked about earlier. But it seems like the overwhelming majority of comedians that received the offer accepted it, seemingly without a second thought crossing their mind whatsoever. Even some of the comedians that claim to be very supportive of free speech, putting a huge emphasis on it as part of their materials in their sets about how important it is, like Jimmy Carr, well, they couldn't resist either. Fucking Jimmy Carr was a co-headliner for this. Really stuck to your guns on that one, eh, Jimbo? And he's far from the only one. If you look at the people that perform there, many of them you've probably seen frequently posting about how wrong it is that people will face, like, punishments and stuff because of, like, what they might post online or, like, jokes or whatever. But they're totally fine taking money from Saudi Arabia, a place that literally has executed people for their opinions and things that they say online. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Until you realize that those comedians, they don't actually believe any of this shit, it seems. They're more than willing to fold on all of this as long as they get paid enough money. It was pretty uncommon to see people say no. And Shane Gillis is right now at, like, the height of popularity for comedians. And he, I have to imagine, got a crazy, crazy, crazy offer to go, but still said no. And I just find that to be amazing. I'm really happy to have learned that Shane Gillis wasn't there, but I was very disappointed to see many of those that were. All of the comedians that turned down the offer, I think, deserve like a very strong round of applause because they actually do practice what they preach when it comes to free speech and the importance of it. Meanwhile, all the comedians that love to yap about principles and all that for their sets and then still went to Riyadh Comedy Festival, seems pretty clear that it's all a bunch of fucking horseradish from them. To me, at least, it seems pretty clear that they're just fucking sellouts that don't actually believe in the things they pump their fist about and joke about on stage or anything. It's all just phony baloney performative, and as long as you give them enough money, it's not like a principle they're gonna stand by. They'll just go take the money instead. Oh, something else I really want to mention, and I know I've already been blabbering about this for a while. Tim Dillon is another comedian who initially accepted the offer, and then on his own show was poking fun at it in saying like they use slavery over there and that he's willing to turn the other cheek because the money was so much, that kind of thing. And they fired him for it. So the implication is when you accept the deal from Saudi Arabia, you then also have to censor yourself in America too and just constantly promote Saudi Arabia and the regime. So even on your own show in America, you were still needing to be a full-blown Saudi Arabian shill. So everyone that went is just so fake, such hypocrites, and they are now just fully shills for Saudi Arabia. They're just so fucking fake, man. It's crazy. I'll stop blabbering about it. I know it's been a little bit already, but it's so sad. It's pathetic. It really is. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.